Okay, guys, we are live. For those listening at home, thank you for waiting if you're joining us live, and welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly Dungeon Master, or maybe it's Chronicler, this evening, because you see, tonight, instead of our regularly scheduled session of the Night Below campaign, we're going to be kicking off our annual gaming marathon with a rousing session of the Degenesis RPG. Now, what is the Degenesis RPG? That's a very good question. This is the current. Well, actually, it's not true. This is now out of date because there is a new edition. But Degenesis is a post-apocalyptic role-playing game published by Six More Vodka, a art studio and gaming studio or gaming design studio out of Germany. And if you want to learn more about Degenesis, you can find a link in the description of this video that leads you to where you can get all of the PDFs that have been published to date for free. It's a very cool thing that they've recently done where they have released all of their gaming books for you for free. So if this does look cool, you can get it all for free. But tonight, we are going to be kicking off. Tomorrow, we're going to be playing a lot more Degenesis. This evening, I thought I would kick things off with, a surprise session, because my players are such very willing and great players to roll with punches. They've agreed to join me in this post-apocalyptic world. So, guys, we spent the last little bit talking a little bit about the setting and about the characters you'll be playing. Guys, well, let's do quick introductions first of who you are and who you're playing. First up, I have Arlen.
Hi, I'm Arlen. I am playing Karina, the Anabaptist Orgiastic, which is like your cultist.
Nice. And I've got I don't have. Gotta add a new handout because the illustrations, all of the art that we're using tonight as well too, is from the actual rule books. One of the things that can be said about the Degenesis RPG is it has some of the very best art I've ever seen in any role-playing game, and certainly one of the reasons why I really kind of fell for this game quite a bit. Now, one thing I will say before we can carry on with our introductions here is that Degenesis is a distinctly mature game. So if you... I don't know if we're going to hit any material or sensitive material this evening too, but it is distinctly a mature game. So if that more adult content is not your bag, this may not be a stream for you. But here we go. I don't think we're going to have... There's Karina. I don't know. I've got nothing loaded right now that is clearly adult, but just as if you do decide to check out the content, there's a lot of adult content in the rulebooks themselves as well too. Next up, we've got Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Piano the Italian, and he is a seeker, and so that's like a seeker of science.
Yeah, so it's more of like a general kind of description about your character. One of the things we talked about before we went live is there's the interesting way you make your character in this is a combination of the 3 C's: your concept, your culture, and your cult. And that'll tell you sort of what your character is. This is what Piano looks like. And the Spitalians are the survivors or the legacy of a hospital that survived the cataclysm that ended the world roughly 5 centuries ago. What Spitalian is short for is hospital. A hospital was contracted to be Spitalians. So they are the master doctors, and they also know the most about the spread of the alien spores that fell with the asteroids that ended the world. Next up is Steve-O.
Yo, I am playing Judge Eckert, who is he's a mentor, and he comes from a culture called Borka, and he is a rank 2 city judge.
Borka is roughly what was partly Poland, partly Germany, and partly the Low Countries. Though the world of Degenesis has not only been dramatically shaped by the Eschaton, the cataclysmic event that ended the world, it's also been shaped by 5 centuries of rebuilding and reshaping of society. Most of the things that we would take for granted as things you would have thought would have persisted into the future have not. Christianity is not really, has fallen by the wayside. The kind of Gnostic beliefs of the Anabaptists, they dominate what was once Italy. It's now called Purgare. Next up is John.
Hey everyone, I'm John and I'm playing Interface. He is of the cult chroniclers. He's also from the culture of Borka, and Kevin was telling me that this particular set of people are like, think of your legacy hackers online, managed to keep a wee bit of the internet alive in a vast knowledge base, and they're hiding it from people, and they want to make decisions for everybody and think they're the best. So that's how I'll be playing mine. But my guy happens to be a mediator, so he wants to make the illusion of us getting along with everyone.
Nice. And last but not least is George.
Hey, I'm George. I am playing Sokari the Sickle, who is an African Anubian. Personality-wise, he is a defiler. So he wants to, he's out for himself and doesn't understand why other people can have things and he can't. Why not me?
Nice. So like I said, so there's different cults that sort of shape everyone's. They become sort of like the power players in the different the world that has been built since the Eschaton. For those listening at home, the setting of Degenesis is enormously complicated. There's a lot of moving parts in it. It makes it really, really interesting to read and really fun to think about, but it's also it's an awful lot to keep track of. So if we fuck things up this evening, we will screw things up. So try to be forgiving with the slip-ups that we make if we present some things wrong. I will say that the guys from Six More Vodka, so it's Marko Djurdovic is the kind of head of Six More Vodka. His handle has been for years Six More Marko. So it's really, I fuck those up sometimes. But Marko Djurdovic, the kind of the lead designer for all of Degenesis, has said, like, look, make the game your own. So we're following along with what he wants. Now, guys, I think that our session will start in... let's see here. I think you guys are traveling through, let's say, it's some backwoods town. It's some town in southern Borka. Borka is, again, kind of what used to be Germany. The relative stability in northwestern Borka, you can't write it. I unfortunately didn't load a map up here for it, but if you can picture like where Germany is on a map, imagine taking a knife and slashing your way down all the way through that, and then through the Alps, and then down to kind of the western coast of Italy. That is something called the Reaping. One of the asteroids that fell in the as part of the Eschaton carved this massive furrow in the very Earth itself, collapsing some of the Alps down and leaving this massive magma-filled rift that divides the two parts of the country. Within the the western part of Borka, there is a region or a kind of a geographical power called the Protectorate, which is largely run by the judges. The judges, in cooperation with certain other cults. The chroniclers have a big part in that as well. The Anabaptists they have a presence, but they're not enormously powerful. The Anabaptists are much more active in Franca to the west, which was France and Brittany and the UK. Or actually, no, it wasn't. The UK, something separate. That island is a very big mystery in the setting. But you, I think, yeah. What what we'll say is that you guys are on your way back towards to the south. Actually, you're going to be traveling through the Alps, the domain of the Helvetics. The Helvetics are kind of like the survivors of a Swiss attempt at surviving the Eschaton. They hold up basically most of, or a good chunk of their army, a bunch of scientists, and like wise, what do you call it, like smart people and whatnot, rich people in the Alps. Unfortunately, it wasn't unscathed, but they are some of the most, apart from North Africa, they're some of the most advanced people surviving in this world. But what they control is the passes to get through. The safe way to get across the reaping, it's called the hard path. You need to get their approval to do that, and then the easiest way to get to Pergar is to travel through there. The reason you're traveling to there, I think, is because of there is a group or another cult called the Apocalyptics, and the Apocalyptics are kind of like live for the moment hedonists. They're also split into different. There is an actual ethos and belief system behind it, but it's not really worth getting into. What you know about them is that they've infiltrated themselves into kind of the like thieves and ruffians and scoundrels and whatnot, blackmailers, assassins, everywhere across the world of Degenesis. And one of the things they like to do is to smuggle something called burn. What burn is basically it's a drug made from the spores, the psychonaut spores. So obviously it's not great to be having people getting addicted to these spores, but apart from the addiction issues as well too, I mentioned before we went live that the neat thing about this particular game is that it keeps many of the tropes of a post-apocalyptic setting, but it escapes kind of the corniness of those settings. So you have mutants and you have what's effectively psychic abilities in it, but they're not because of comic book radiation, they're because of these alien spores. And one of the things that you guys will notice on all of your character sheets is that you have a tracker for spore exposure. Mm-hmm. What that is what the concern is if you are exposed to the alien spores, what'll happen is there will be a manifestation of something that has been called the chakra. And that's not only you will find a giant red rash on your body that raises in a very distinctive shape as you get more of a connection to the spores and the psychonauts, the transformed Homo Degenesis that have been completely reshaped by them. The problem is that you start tapping into what the Anubians and what the Spitalians refer to as the Aether. And that's sort of their rough name for the psychic framework that connects the psychonauts and their power. So you can become what is roughly are mostly known as the Leperos. And Leperos are humans who have been transformed by the spore and may be slaves to the psychonauts, to the Homo Degenesis. So obviously, burn is not a welcome thing here, and there is a particular dealer of burn that is from one of the flocks of the apocalyptics that you're chasing, and it's more than just actually chasing a like chasing just an individual across the land. You've been following a trail, and it seems that from the spore fields in Franca, there's some kind of like chain that's going all the way from there down towards Pergar. And what that means is there's corruption throughout the Protectorate, there's corruption throughout Franca and the kingdoms that are in there and the Anabaptist regions. It also means that there are Helvetics who are taking bribes to look the other way so that you can get this illicit material over the border. And it also means that in the heart of the Anabaptist region, where the Elysium oils themselves are actually made, there's some kind of shenanigans going on because this stuff is being shipped down there. This is of interest to you, Sakari, because of one of your patrons. You've been sort of seconded out. There is one of the other player characters we're going to meet over the course of the weekend is a character named, who doesn't have a name yet, but he's a Neo-Libyan. And he has a Scourger associate as well, too, who's sort of his henchman. You are kind of his spiritual advisor. You sort of hitched your wagon to his star. I talked about this before we went live, but like the Neo-Libyans are easily the richest people, the richest, the richest families, the richest ethnic group anywhere in the world of Degenesis. They have a massive, there's a massive bank out of Tripoli that allows people to go and explore these, ventures and whatnot. And for whatever reason, your patron has been interested in getting involved with this particular exercise or investigation. Interface. What do you guys? So this obviously makes sense for why this would matter to Judge Eckert. Someone smuggling drugs through this. Anytime you can put your sledgehammer into the face of an apocalyptic too, that's usually a good day for a judge.
Right.
Karina, obviously coming. I don't know. Like, what do you think? Do you think that she's fairly traveled? Do you think she, like we were talking before we went live? She's actually comes from the Balkan culture, which is really unusual. Normally, the Balkans don't become Anabaptists because they just don't agree with them, and the relationship that the voivodes in the Balkans often have with psychonauts to rely on them as kind of a Baba Yaga style like witch. That usually puts them at odds with the Anabaptists who want to put the sword and the torch to the psychonauts. What do you think is the weird constellation of circumstances that led you to be, on the far side of the reaping in Franca?
Well, I noticed I was looking through my stats. My Karina is real strong and tough, is not charismatic at all, but is pretty smart. She's definitely, I imagine, has, more than a couple of books that she's read through and that sort of stuff. And that may have been kind of the sort of inspiration for her that she kind of had heard about these and decided to go and try to figure out how to see for herself and kind of eventually, I don't know if are you imagining that she's been all the way to the power center of the Anabaptists and then has headed back out to
totally
the
your
fringe?
call. There's a couple ways this could have happened. She could have made like an end run to the north through Poland, which is quite dangerous, and then through Borka, and then somehow met up with some Anabaptists and made her way, from there and then down south. Or she could have gone south. Over the last 100 years, there's been an active war in the Adriatic between the Anabaptists and another cult called the Jehamadans. And you could very well, it's 100 years of active bloody warfare. You could have easily gone down and thrown your lot in with one or the other. So
then I think definitely war in the Adriatic sounds like probably how I ended up kind of first meeting the Anabaptist kind of claim, and then eventually sort of decided that aligned, not even necessarily not aligned with my interests so much as aligned with my kind of personal worldview that I had
So
developed.
The way that the Anabaptists, and this is before the Psychonauts even really developed, they've got a very Gnostic worldview where they see the world as corrupt, right? They don't see the world as a product of divine handiwork. It is a product of Satan and corruption, a demiurge. And once the early beliefs were to take up arms against the corruption of the new world and blah blah blah. As soon as the Psychonauts started showing up, especially the massively powerful psychokinetics in Purgar, which is like each of the different regions where the different asteroids fell, have expressed a totally different kind of mutation. There's mind-controlling ferromancers that developed in Franca. There are what do they call them? There's the bio something or other in what are they called? In Poland, and where are they here? There's a Pregnoctics. Sorry, wow, that's hard to say. Who appeared in Hyperspania, which is basically in Hyperspania. There is a war going on actively between the Africans and the Europeans, or the legacy that are still there. The Pregnoctics are these psychic who can tell the future ones, and they are tentative allies of the people who are fighting there as well too, against the overwhelming power of the African forces. There's the what are they called? Oops, where's the one in the Balkans? Who are called the Dushani, which is the voice of decay. But the scariest ones, by far, are the ones in Purgar, because they're psychokinetics. And I talked about this before we went live as well, too, but this game is very much sci-fi more so than fantasy. There's definitely some fantastical elements. The reason I think it's important to keep that in mind is because you're playing flesh and blood characters, like flesh and blood people. Bullets can kill your characters pretty easily. Blades, when you indulge in violence, there's always a threat. You'll see, we'll do a quick kind of combat thing here in a moment to get you rolling some dice, but you'll see that the way that the way that your characters are able to engage in combat, it's cinematic, but it is definitely a matter. What is important for the game is the focus on role-playing your character and exploring their interests, their personalities and whatnot, and then interacting with this really neat world. It's very much more about the characters than it is necessarily about like the epic quest or gaining levels or things like that. So to me, that's where like sci-fi for me is about us, right? It's about humankind, and this game is about belief and about the perspective. As I said, like before we went live, there's no bad guys, clear bad guys in this game. The Psychonauts are kind of the closest to bad guys, but
George's character's got me looking at him.
Yeah.
It's a certain point of view.
So anyway, the reason I mentioned this all that stuff is because when I say that the psychokinetics are terrifying. Like imagine things that can vaporize bullets and things that can just tear apart you by virtue of being close to you because of their power. And every one of the Psychonauts has a strange connection with different kinds of insects. So you'll see massive swarms of them that if you expose yourself to them, to take up arms against them is to be automatically exposed to spore corruption. So there is this doomed kind of quality to the way that you take up arms against them as well. And then also you have the fight against the Jahamadans as well too, who believe in a very different, imagine like kind of a really militaristic blend of traditional like a kind of a syncretic belief of Christian, Muslim, and Jewish beliefs, with a cornerstone of kind of Old Testament thing. But instead of being sheep, they are rams. They take up arms, and they've got themselves all their different. The thing about them is that you can't really convert into them. You are either born into their family and protect the family, or you are not of them. So even if Karina was not necessarily drawn to the Gnostic beliefs, if she was like, well, I'm not sure which of these ones I want to go with, one of them would take you, one of them would not. So that's a little bit about Karina. Let's talk about Old Piano. And I actually fucked up. He's not from Poland, I don't think. He's from Purgar, isn't he? His culture?
Yeah, Purgar.
Okay, so you grew up in that kind of circumstance as well, too. You grew up in Purgar, which is like once was Italy. You've got this mix of the Anabaptists are quite powerful there now, too, but also there are clans that are basically at like kind of a high medieval, low Renaissance level of technology they've managed to get back to. They are warriors, and they have massive control over some of the regions. And they're not these in other parts of the world. You'll find things like Stone Age level cannibals, like the Flesh Eaters. You'll find other kinds of... there's a clan called the Cockroaches that murder and eat people, apparently. But in what you have in Porgar, instead of that level, and you still will find that in some places there, you will still find active wars. Think of Montagues and the Capulets. That's, that's what you would still have here. Massive, centuries-old fights between different families. The Spitalians generally they're not super interested in being here, but you come from where your training was in a place called Vivico. And it was under the tutelage of a Spitalian named... Where is he? Where are you, buddy? Carmino Ferro. Carmino Ferro is basically the guy who's transformed that. It was a kind of a backwater dumping ground for like the D grade. The joke we've made before. What do you call the guy who graduates at the bottom of med school? Doctor. That's what you've had there, is these people who really have no business being Spitalians, but they've sort of sent them there anyway. Ferro transformed that. He arrived there, transformed it so it was an actual place. Karina, you may have actually met Ulpiano when you were maybe receiving treatment down there, or perhaps when you were escorting other people up there, because the injured Anabaptists who came from the Adriatic Wars, many of them have been treated by Carmino. And in addition, Carmino has a very close connection with one of the powerful local rulers, who happens to also not only be the head of his clan, also the head of the local Anabaptists. He's a Baptist, which is a high-ranking member of your order. How do you think your characters would have gotten along? Maybe tell us a little bit about Ulpiano first, and then you can... How you seen him?
So you said he's left this sort of region or position that he probably would have wanted to stay in. And so I was thinking that for a bit of a backstory, that he became addicted to some chemical or drug that they were using at the hospital, and he was secretly using it, and basically it was something that didn't get used much, and then some outbreak happened or something, and a bunch of people died because they realized all this drug was missing, and maybe even Carmino found out about it, and so he's sort of been banished from the Spitalion where he was working.
So we can't have it that this is not a forgiving world. If you fucked up that bad, you would have just been thrown out. If you can give me a reason,
he's thrown out.
Well, the thing is that they wouldn't just throw you out with your gear and stuff like that. You'd just be thrown out of the Spitalions. However, can you think of a way of keeping that stuff, but making it so that it would not have led to him being kicked out?
Well, what if he's the only one who found out, and there was some kind of relationship between him and his mentor that he said, you better get out of, they're going to kill you. It's exactly like you said, what you've done is unforgivable, but he loved him.
Let's
like
just dial it back,
or whatever the reason was. And
let's say that you did, fortunately, the plague or whatever else didn't come. And what if he said that he was going to he could only punish you based on what you did, not what you might have done?
Okay.
And then just you lucked out, and the whatever thing that was there for it just never came.
Right. So they never needed the drugs, but they still found out that he had taken them.
Yeah, and maybe it's only him. And then you would have gone through both the sweating the uncertainty, but also sweating the detox process, right? And then maybe what he realizes that the monotony or whatnot of being here, that's what sort of. He was fearful that would just lead you to relapsing. So he has promoted you. No doubt you're quite competent as well too. He's promoted you to your current position, which is I don't remember. You're a Famulancer, and what a Famulancer is basically you'll see you've got those. those really, that big, let's take a look at your, oops, wrong thing here, your illustration. No, that's
Oh yeah, that big staff-looking thing.
Yeah, so here's, I mentioned how they, before we went live, but the Spitalians also are foremost in the fight against the spread of the spore. Not not necessarily taking up arms directly against the Psychonauts, but they certainly do that as well too, but particularly against the source. You see that strange spear type thing that he's got? If you guys zoom in, what you'll see is on the end of it, there's a glass jar with what looks like a mollusk of some kind. What that is, that entire device is called a splayer. You can activate a device and those blades on the end can swip out or go in. The top can be a number of different attachments because there's a mechanism that goes in through there and powers something. But the mollusk is usually the most helpful thing because the mollusk will react to the presence of spore. That's both like the actual spores themselves, or people who have a high corruption, or the presence of psychonauts. So it could, vibrate. You can't really see it, in a very low manner if it's a psychonaut who has exhausted all of its spore reservoir, or perhaps just a low level of infection, to slamming violently against the inside of that jar when in the presence of really strong, powerful psychonauts or spore infection. So you've taken up, the other thing you've got there is your, it's not called a sprayer, it's called a, what's it called? Your gun is a
spore rifle or something?
Yes, the fungicide rifle. It's basically like a delivery vector for different things, for antifungal agents, for things that will interfere with a psychonaut's spore ability, their ability to tap into that power, or just a plain Jane like what you've got in there, flame dust. It's effectively a fire, like it shoots napalm. So you can trade out different things. You've also got one that's a powerful anesthetic called, I think, black something or other. So you've been put on this stuff, and you've been given, as a family lancer, you've been given a task. And I think this is what brought both you, Karina, do you think you would have escorted, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. So you two have, that's what brought you, maybe, from Purgar out to the west. Now, Judge Eckert, why do you think you've got this mentor kind of attitude? If you're this badass traveler with a big fuck off hammer, Steve, why do you think that you've turned your mind towards, or what you're prioritizing as mentoring? Have you hit a certain point in your life where you're looking to move on, or?
There's just been a lot of youths succumbing to this drug problem, and I feel like a certain obligation to at least try to do something about it.
Okay. And how does that fit in with your mentor thing? Like, are you trying to see beyond the codex that you carry around, the codex of law? It really only tells you when people break the law. It doesn't give you guidance for what to do before that happens.
Good point. I mean, so he studies the book sort of looking for sort of the connections, maybe sort of if there's any underlying theory he can sort of pull out of the of the rules in the book to maybe sort of apply to different situations.
Okay, but how does that fit in with your mentor thing?
Okay, so there isn't much of essentially a policy, I think, in the region in terms of controlling sort of like, hidden hazardous substances or something like that. So he's trying to figure out sort of what laws he can use to maybe try to help to get maneuver local authorities to give him a hand.
Let me suggest this, and you can tell me if you this is way off. What if what you're trying to do is prevent them from falling into the position where they will break laws?
Okay. A bit of an educator. Yes, mentor style.
Maybe that's why you're in the mentor role, and as opposed to, you still are obviously a badass man of the law, but maybe that's why you're you've got that mentor status as opposed to just being a blunt implement of the law.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. John, what about interface? What do we tell me a little bit about what he's thinking. It's not unusual for chroniclers to be seconded, you are actually a mediator status as well too. Like you're in the thing, and you're sort of you're not really free to come and go where you want. What you can't see from your illustration there is that all chroniclers have a barcode tattooed on their forehead, and they use that to access the conclaves, the kind of like secret places that the chroniclers actually go to. But they're allowed to go out. They're given, dispensation to go out and travel when they're given specific missions. How do you think you fell in with this motley group of trying to track down this guy, this apocalyptic?
Well, we're always interested in getting more information. I mean, that's kind of our thing, and going out in the role of a mediator to kind of like smooth things over is an excellent way of getting yourself into areas and acting as a way of gathering more information. And I think I'm more playing the spy in this into a mediator, and I'm basically here for personal benefit as far as getting promoted and to further out our power base.
Okay. And Sakari, this is definitely strange shores for you. The normally the presence that where Africans have a lot of power is either along the Mediterranean coast or into the southern parts of Hyperspania. And not surprisingly, because of the recent history in Hyperspania and the way that the Neo-Libyans basically there's another cult called the Scrappers, and there's African Scrappers and there's European Scrappers. And the Scrappers are basically the ones who go out and go through the the ruined cities and things like that, and dig up the remnants, and find the artifacts that can be found there and whatever other things that can be salvaged. Purgar, for the most part, southern Purgar in particular, has been completely picked clean by centuries of Neo-Libyans doing that. That has led to a great deal of resentment by a lot of Europeans. They're also resentful of how much money they have. They're also resentful from the scourge slaving raids that have gone on for centuries as well, too. There is very much a vein that runs through the sort of African unified, region of, you fucked our continent over for a long time, now it's our turn. And that has led to some very, very hard feelings towards Africans in a lot of different regions. There still is, the Neo-Libyans still travel quite a bit. The Scourgers are quite well known as well, too, because they're the scary, enforcers or soldiers. And then the Anubians are there, but I'm not sure that it's really... the locals would necessarily know what they are, apart from just scary witch doctors or scary shaman.
Yeah.
So how does Sakari see this opportunity of being seconded here?
Well, I was sent here by my patron, so I, of course, will fulfill my oath to him as best I can. And I have brought with me my shining kopesh of steel, which I shall use to avenge like Anubis's ghost does. And those that are unworthy shall die.
Okay.
And I do not know these people, but if they are in this state, and from what I know of how Anubis works, they must have brought it on themselves.
Okay. Yes, that sounds about right. Yeah,
Not either, right? That's
absolutely.
I don't actually feel that way personally.
No. All right, George, you're a terrible person. What is it?
I'm role playing.
I'm shocked to my core. All right, so guys, let's do this. Karina, who do you think you get along with the best in your traveling companions? You can assume you guys have been traveling together for about, say, 3 weeks at least right now. So you spent some time on the road. You've had to, see a variety of different regions. You've seen, relatively civilized, areas that have almost what we would consider a modern level of technology. You've also passed through regions that are barely, would barely pass for a Stone Age, settlement. How do you think that Karina feels about her? Who is the person she likes the best, and who does she like the least?
So I think she might like Judge Eckert the best, because it seems like he's got his well, for one thing, he's got his head on straight, and he's not this, weird cybermancy dude.
Yeah.
But he's got the kind of righteous power and the law on his side and all that sort of stuff. And that's something that's kind of similar to my own perspective on the world. And I think that's and perhaps I even respect him. I've sort of come to realize that he has this sort of streak of mentoring beyond just the kind of violent hammer of the law, and that has sort of been a real improvement in my opinion of him, to realize this isn't just some like dumb fighter who happens to know the cannons. He's like a real, you know, similar to me trying to kind of to create this order and maintain it for everybody's benefit and all that sort of stuff.
Okay. And who's the person that she likes the least?
So I'm trying to decide between Sakari and Interface.
Aw, pick me.
So Interface too, chroniclers have like weirdly digitized voices as well too, so it can be like Darth Vader-y, or it can be like, you know, that robot filter you can put on gaming consoles, whatever you want.
Out of curiosity, in the game world, why is that the case? Is that
So
you know, Kev?
in the game world, to be honest, it's to maintain the mystique. It's all part of this, like, you know, weird otherworldly. They actually get when you're wearing your chronicler suit, you actually get a bonus to first impressions, because you're seen as just like knowing so much more. When the average level of technology is about like a high medieval level of technology, someone who can come in and make, you know, image walls move and talk, you know, and can send messages through the air to other people, like, how is that not magic? And then they just really play that up too, and they can do things that no other, you know, when with a command of their voice, they can drive brave soldiers to their knees. That's cool. So they just really play that stuff up. You know, they also keep very close ties with the scrappers and buy stuff from them all the time. So the scrappers kind of like, they go out there and they make their living, you know, digging in all these places, and then make their profits off of selling to the chroniclers.
Okay, well then I think Interface is definitely, he's pretty weird, and I'm not likely to ever be a sort of super close friend.
You said,
but I also
really smart, right?
But yeah, but I can respect the knowledge of the chroniclers that he represents in particular, and really the idea that he's kind of maintaining something in a way that Sakari is sort of the, like, right, because what I know about the whole weird plant thing that goes on with the
So the way
Nubians?
that Karina would see it is as it is manifestation of the demiurge.
Yeah. So that's what I'm wondering, is if I actually know about that this is like a central part of their
Let's see here. Hold on. Let's that's an interesting question. Let's take a look at your character sheet, and let's let the dice decide here. So, would you kindly give me a intellect legends check? Now, I don't think there's any penalty if you don't have training in a skill.
All right, intellect legends.
Yeah.
No modifier.
How do you do here?
Ooh, tricker.
Nice. And
Two
okay,
successes
so this
with one of the special bonus.
So I mentioned before a trigger. So what I mentioned before we went live too is the way that you test, the way that you sort of the game is played is you roll a series of d6s as your pool. If you roll 4 or higher, it's a success. You roll 3 or less, it's a fail. If you roll a 6, it also counts as a trigger. In addition to that, triggers are sort of the way that we sort of judge, you know, the quality of your success. So what is it you're trying to figure out? Is like what Sakari's deal is, or
I think it's more that like that Sakari's kind of his particular people have made the deal with the devil, right? That's kind of their core thing.
I think what you know is that they it's the pneuma is sort of the pure spirit, right? That's the pure
Yeah.
soul
Yeah.
that is then, trapped in a corrupt form of flesh, in the world of the demiurge. I don't know what you necessarily think. Like you probably with a roll that well, you don't know much about how many. Actually, hold on. How many your origins? Origins are kind of like your backgrounds. It's things that you have. There's one called secrets, and there's one called network. Do you have any points in either of those?
I have no points in network, 1 point in secrets.
So secrets generally refers, if you don't have any points in networks, that means you really know very little about the other cults. So you do have some knowledge of the secrets of your own cult, though. I think you don't know about the particulars of his stuff, and what Kari's, and we'll wait for George to get back to let him tell us whether he, what he feels. One of his special abilities is that once a month he gets a flash of insight into the future. And I don't know whether you've seen that happen, but that's probably the extent of the Nubian contact you've had. Where you come from is a place called Lucator, and Lucator does not really welcome Africans all that much. It's far enough north that they're developed enough, and it's certainly thrown in with the Anabaptists, and they don't want to, they don't want to have it turn over to that. George, what I was going to ask is one of the special abilities you have, the way that like special abilities like feats or whatnot are done in this game is through something called potentials. Potentials are kind of like your special abilities that you can do that no one else can. Some of them are general, some of them are linked to your cult. This is a cool one that George has linked to his cult.
I have no potentials.
Oh, you do have one. Hold on. I forgot to add it. Give me 1 sec here. I'll tell you what your potential is.
Nice.
Yeah, because you definitely get... okay, where are you here? If your character does not have a potential, please let me know. I think everyone's does.
I don't have a potential listed.
Okay, so hold on, I did have one in mind for you, but you can... Well, actually, you know what? If you've got the PDF for Catharsis, you can pick one if you like.
Stampede!
Yeah, you got one called Stampede, which is basically like you run into a dude and smash him with the handle of your hammer.
That sounds just about right.
And when I saw it called Stampede, Steve, how could I resist that for you?
Well, indeed, and very, oh my gosh, what was my paladin's name again? From
WoW, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, what was his name?
Come on now. It was.
Oh, Numina is the one I was thinking for you, Arlen. It's on page 87 of Catharsis. If the enemy is hit, more than blood and gore gushes from his body. His flesh becomes separated from his soul, and pure godly pneuma seeps from the rotten body. Only a small step towards paradise, but the Anabaptist feels strengthened, energized, and uplifted. If the Anabaptist causes a wound with at least 5 minus the potential level, so it's 4, at your level, you recover 1 ego point. Ego is kind of the narrative meta currency in this game. Mm-hmm. Ego is also sort of your force of will. It's what gets damaged when you're fighting hand to hand, or with physical, like mental attacks. Now yours, John. Do you have a skill called Focus? Or do you have a skill called Primal?
Is that under...
Focus is under Intelligence, I think.
Intelligence, I have 1 in Focus.
Okay. Focus, so one of the other interesting things you do in the game is you pick... There's two different kind of axes you also look at. Your character either has power that's drawn from faith or from willpower. And you also have a choice between...
0 faith.
Yeah. You have between Focus or Primal. And then that will determine sometimes what potentials you have access to.
Yeah, no primals.
No primal. Okay, cool. So then what... Oh, how's this? Fractal memory. The chronicler's memory is like a map with landmarks and complex coastlines. On it, he's arranged his knowledge according to mathematical rules taken from fractal theory. On all action rolls on intelligence, he gets triggers equaling his potential level. So the potential will be level 1. That's 1 free trigger with every intelligence roll you make.
I really like that. What page is that on?
Page 47 of Catharsis.
47.
That actually will be handy for your
I'm
vocoder
heavily
too.
intelligence-based, yeah.
Yeah, and for your vocoder as well too, because the way that you operate that is not through like a melee attack or something like that. It's a combination of intelligence, engineering, and psyche, and domination. So that would give you triggers. It basically give you a free extra success when you're using that thing. It's pretty cool. Okay, so what were we just talking about? Sorry, guys, when we were...
Who likes who?
You were.
Oh, right, so you said that was it. All right. Then, Opiano, how about you? Who do you think you like best, and who do you think you like least? Did we decide, Karina, it's interface is the one you trust the least, or are we still kind of waffling about...
No, I think Sakari is the one that I trust the least.
Okay, yeah. He's definitely...
It's fair.
Feel like he trucks with the demiurge?
Well, and he kind of ties into one of my things is that like I'm just kind of naturally physically gifted, which is sort of kind of a nasty thing for somebody who believes in the terribleness of flesh and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And Sakari's sort of like a constant reminder of like the potential to fall into the demiurge's clutches almost that I have in myself.
So you have two, the ruler of Lucator and his wife are likely two of its Altair Benesato, Baptist Altair Benesato, and his wife, who is, what's her position called? Jeez. She is basically the ruler of the city, the lay ruler of the city, the emissary, Neva. They met on the battlefield. They fell in love with their, how they fought each other. And they have been, even though there's an age difference between the two, they have been the rulers of Lucator as it's becoming more and more important and rich. And even though you're a foreigner, you have been welcome in that region. Okay, so that makes sense. Opiano, how about you? What are you thinking here? Who's the one you think you trust the most, and who do you like, or who do you like the best, and who do you like the least?
I think that interface definitely interests me the most, and is who I'm. So I guess liked as well. So I'm trying to spend time and learn stuff from interface.
Okay. Do you have any points in engineering?
Let me see. I have 1 point in engineering.
1 point in engineering, and how about in artifact lore?
Also 1 point. Yeah.
So that's interesting. You may have actually a frame of reference where you guys could talk with each other.
I am much skilled in those skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
how about least?
I think that the one I like the least is Karina, because I think that Opiano sees her as like his babysitter, or like his, like he feels like Carmina might have sent her as that sort of role, and so he kind of resents it.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. Okay, so how about Judge Eckert? Which of these traveling companions does he like the best, and which does he like the least? Steve-O? Oh, you're muted, bud.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just made a little bit of chicken pot pie. What were the groups?
Why don't you enjoy your chicken pot pie? We'll come back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So how about interface? Who does interface like the most, and who does interface like the least?
Let's see. Oddly enough, being a mediator, he tries to get along with everybody, but I think he does like Opiano a bit better, because that whole dealing with the spore thing is something we really need to learn about, and he's got some history with it. And I don't like the judge, just because he's very perceptive, and he's hard-headed and stubborn, and head on the hammer on the nail kind of thing. So I'm a little edgy around him.
Okay. And what was Sakari? Who's Sakari like the best, and who's he like the least?
Yeah. He likes Judge Eckert the best because he can just use him as a weapon.
Yeah.
To carry out what he needs to do. And he's been thrown out, or he's been, he's basically just a soldier with no spirituality as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to teach him that in exchange. So it's not like I'm just using him.
Yep.
I am using him, but I'm going to help him out too.
Okay.
And then who do I think I don't like Interface, or I like Interface the least, I should say, because they put on airs as if they actually know things about the universe, but they don't. They know science, and that's not real. That is what got us into
That's
this.
so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, into the first place. So, and he knows that he's not going to be able to ever convince Interface that he should embrace true faith.
Yeah, I was toying with the idea of not liking Sakari either, but I figure keep your enemies close.
No, that makes sense. And it's not that I hate you; it's just who I like the least out of the group.
Your weird primal stuff is a mystery.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my guy's a bastard, so
I have 0 faith and 0 primal, so it's like
there you go. So that makes perfect sense.
Okay, let me find some stats here. So I think what we got here. One thing that is unfortunate in the core book is there's stats for a couple things, but there's not like general here's what clan whatever things are. So it does leave it to you. I mean, the adventures, which are also free, have a bunch of that information in there, so you can steal just steal stats from there. But yeah, okay.
And Kev, is that part of the game system to pick your relationships, kind of?
No. That's just me. That's
okay, cool.
Yeah. That's I wanted to get a sense of what. And I think it highlights that. You can have a gaming group that works together, but has very different beliefs and different kind of goals. Well,
one of the things I liked about the system is that the kind of world part of the system is that they give you what your stereotypical viewpoint is of all the other clans.
Absolutely, yeah. And I love that I was a White Wolf fan from back in the day, right? So I love the, this is your archetype, and here's what the other archetypes are. How you feel about those?
Yeah, it's cool.
Awesome. Okay, so then, Steve, what the question was how does Judge Eckert, who amongst the other characters, who's his favorite and who's his least favorite?
Well, he's kind of a little bit nonplussed by Karina the Anabaptist, and it's sort of like he's not sure if he likes her kind of sort of uppity style, but he's kind of also down because she seems sort of earthy as well. So she's a bit of his value system is a little bit more sort of Spartan. So, so he's interested in sort of examining her makeup, so to speak. And
Okay.
Who's the least? Let's go with Interface, because lots of people seem to not like Interface.
And what is it about Interface that you don't trust or don't like?
Let's see. I think. Well, I mean, he wears that mask for one thing, and anyone who wears a mask is hiding something. So
you wear a mask too, right?
Yeah, but that's different.
Well, then he knows it's true.
You've captured the ideal hypocrisy of the overly morally, righteous. So.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Quality role playing. Okay, so guys, what we're going to say is we're going to make this real, kind of straightforward here. And we're going to do Theater of the Mind from this. They strongly encourage Theater of the Mind, although you can play this with a battle mat if you want to as well. I think that you guys are traveling. You're making your way through kind of southern Franca. Actually, where's my copy of? Let's see here. Yeah, it would be southern Franca, and that's some dangerous region to be traveling through because the Ferromancers are quite active there, which means that what you can see is a bunch of bees can come in to a village, and then everyone in the village walks out and then just joins up with the Ferromancers, and the Ferromancers are some of the most strongly body horror looking ones of the but to be honest, they're all pretty awful. But there's a picture of the Ferromancer in Catharsis. That's like a combination of like human and beehive with shit coming out of the side of this thing. It's just, it's so awesome. So, you guys are traveling along, and it's getting closer to the end of the day. And normally, you know, I think what you come across is this is not really like a well-trodden. Actually, there's a path here, but when you reach the sort of, you know, the waypoint village, what you find is a very much like what's in the illustration here. It's this place of like maybe 4 or 5 buildings with you know, rusted corrugated steel. There's a sign that is or a pole that used to have a sign on it that's fallen off, and with the low hanging
Different image than the one you are describing.
Oh, what am I?
Because we're still on the In Thy Blood
on, guys.
splash page.
Sorry, this this is where you guys should be.
That makes more sense.
I've had well,
This really is theater of the mind.
yeah, it's really. Sorry, guys. Yeah, you what do you call it? Yeah, you got a nice view of Karina's, you know, most hometown. That's Lucator that you were looking down at. This is what I've had. I guess that made the reveal for each of your characters all the more surprising, because your things have been sitting here on my screen for the last little while. So for the tokens, guys, the green is your ego, the blue is your flesh wounds, and the red is your trauma. When you take damage, you take it to your flesh wounds first, and there's no mechanical effect as long as you're taking flesh wounds. As soon as you start taking trauma, though, every point of trauma gives you -1 dice on all dice pools. Trauma takes a long time to recover, but you can do first aid, and you do have a very skilled medic with you. So you don't want to, although you want to make sure he doesn't get hurt. In addition, flesh wounds can be treated with first aid as well. You can also, I didn't put it on your sheet there, Ulpiano, you also have bandages. Bandages can be applied at any point to recover 1 flesh wound. You can only do it like once per injury, but it's a quick, you know, wrap it around. Warriors, if you guys feel that, like Karina and, excuse me, Judge Eckhart and Sakari for that matter too, if you think you guys would carry bandages as well too, it's a negligible weight, so you can feel free to carry that as well.
And can you explain, so ego,
so here's the way ego works. Yeah. Ego can be spent, there are different potentials that can be used to buy things with ego. Rules is written, you have a max of 3 you can spend on ego. And then what it does is you spend it at the start of your start of combat, or start of each round. Each round we roll initiative. You the way initiative works is your number of successes determines like your score, your initiative score. Number of triggers tells you how many actions you take. It's 1 action plus 1 additional action per trigger. And if you spend ego up to 3 points, you get to add that to your initiative pool. And then you also add that to your first action taken that round. So it's a way of buffing it. Yeah.
And when you add it to your action, does that count as successes, or you add it?
No, as dice.
Dice.
As dice,
okay.
yeah.
Cool.
There's 3 different ways that the game modifies dice rolls. They'll either give you automatic successes, they'll give you automatic triggers, or they'll give you automatic or extra dice.
Cool.
Yeah, so it doesn't ever adjust the target number, which is interesting. So
I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's you know,
less math.
Yeah. So, well, and it's less things doing the exact same thing, but in different directions that some games have, right? So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, just pick a horse and ride it. So, speaking of horses, the only horse you guys have is Ulpiano's, you know, his very plain Jane kind of horse. It is not a fancy thing. It has no training whatsoever apart from just carrying shit. And I've assumed that you're carrying your Splayer, Ulpiano, but you've got the what do you call it? The fungicide rifle on the actual horse, because otherwise you're going to be over encumbered.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Okay. So as you guys are making your way down towards this place, let's take a look. Actually, hold on. Why don't see what you guys know about this going in. Let's talk about helping another, because there's different kinds of dice rolls you can do here. Oh, come on, you. Come on, fingers, work with me. There we go. Cooperation. This is not a complex action. So, anyone who wants to help, what this is going to be is a roll on... I think the skill is navigation? Let's see here. Trying to put this down without hitting my keyboard. There we go. Okay, so it's not survival. There's orienteering. I wonder if that's the... Identifying way markers. That's finding your way around. What I want to know is the regional lore, though. Navigation, here we go. Oh, navigation is to control your vehicle. I should mention that the game was originally written in German and translated, so there's some unusual phrasings or choices of words sometimes where you're like, huh. Like, they use the word guy when they mean man at certain points when you're reading through and like, you know, this, and it's a really artful phrase, and it's like, and then this guy. I'm like, oh, that's interesting choice. So I think what I'm looking for is orienteering. Is anyone trained in orienteering?
Let's see.
I think that Judge Eckhart might be.
I have a 1.
Okay. Steve, is Judge Eckhart, does he have any points in orienteering?
Orienteering, he has...
It's under instinct.
Thank you. No, he does not.
Does not, okay. So, Opiano, you're the only one who's got this. Let's see here. Let me see here. I can't remember. I don't remember seeing anything that says you cannot try something without training in it. There isn't a restriction. Let's see here.
Opiano would prefer no one would assist him if they're untrained.
Well, there's no penalty to it necessarily. What it is anyone who's trying to assist, they make a check against the same roll with a difficulty of +1. I think I'll just make this a difficulty of 2 for you, Opiano. And if anyone else wants to try, what it does, triggers they roll become bonus dice for you. So they need to succeed, but then also triggers become bonus dice. So anyone else who wants to, who thinks their character may have been helping navigate, go ahead and make a roll.
So you just click on the skill itself.
On the skill itself, yeah.
Yeah.
Karina, you could probably, you travel this region as well, too. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but my orienteering sucks.
Okay.
So I'll try it.
Yeah.
Okay, so ego is recovered once per day. You get 1 point per day, and you also can. There's certain things you can do to recover it faster, like some Elysium oils restore it, burn restores it, and there's certain potentials you have, like Karina's for hacking people apart. She gets jazzed back up from that. Okay, so Sokari cannot help with this. Opiano, go ahead and give us a orienteering roll.
I am not from these lands.
Yep.
It's all strange to me.
Karina's got fuck all as well. Okay, nice! Opiano's got 2 and a trigger. So, tell me, so this is actually a place you remember staying from before. Let's call this place, well, it says Vaso on there, so let's call it Vaso. What is it that you remember about Vaso that, that you were thinking about? Like, what is it that stands out for you about Vaso? And boy, you're looking forward to getting there again.
So, we're here to find somebody who's a drug dealer or a drug dealer or something?
You're going to be following along.
So maybe there's a chemistry, maybe there's an actual chemist or something that lives out here that I've visited.
No, it's not something to your relating to the actual investigation. This is just a waypoint on your next stop. You know you need to get across the reaping, and also get across the Alps. So what I'm just looking for is what's some neat thing that you remembered about this place that you liked? Was there someone who's, kind of keep an eye on the road? Maybe there's an innkeeper who, kept an eye out and might be a help for your continued investigation. Maybe there's just, particularly warm beds you like. Maybe there's a local brew that was here.
I think there was just a cute girl who lived here.
Cute girl. There you go. Okay. So, and who was she? Was she the daughter of like some local? This place has got maybe, there's an inn. There's probably an old chroniclers like stop off or point where scrappers can drop off. Although it's so old at this point, and this place is so picked over that almost no one goes there. It's kind of where chroniclers go to, to retire.
Maybe she's got like a little apothecary or some kind of thing that she runs, like that the innkeeper lets her run in the little lobby of the inn.
Sure, yeah. She's maybe, like a daughter of a local clan that has, some training in apothecary that you were, at first you're like, stupid, blah, 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 but the actual folk wisdom is still quite impressive. So let's turn this down a bit.
Oh.
Get this up. Okay. So the road has been, over the last little while, this is pretty desolate. The combination of the spread of the Ferromancer's abilities, the predations of resurgent clans, like what's been happening in southern Borca for the last little while has been clans thought shattered centuries ago are beginning to grow resurgent. There's rumors of strange fusions of man and machine in southern Borca. There's talk of a star that fell within several decades and more horrors that may come from that. And there's the predations of pirates and of Libyan or Neo-Libyan slavers coming up, so African slavers. So it's been a very desolate region. Olpiano, what is it you're sort of selling this place as? I sounds like you are getting along best with Interface. Interface, you're aware, I think. Why don't you give us what is your secrets?
I have. Where's secrets at? I have a 1 in secrets.
A 1 in secrets. So why don't you give me a. Let's see here. I think it's an intelligence and legends, and then you can add +1 because of your secrets.
The legends +1.
Yeah.
So I'll just take it up to. Oh yeah, just +1 on that.
Yeah, it's at +1.
Modifier. Oh wait.
You may have hit too quickly.
Okay, let's try that again.
Because it rolled nothing. So
secrets, right? Or legends? Legends.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, don't type in a plus. That's what happened.
There you go. Okay, so 4 and a trigger for this. So
that's an intelligence roll. So my fractal mind comes into play too for an extra trigger.
Nice. You got 2 triggers in it. All right. So while I mentioned
dial-up sounds.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's the what do you call it? I can't remember if I mentioned this when we went live or not. But the chroniclers also have a less open face to them, and that less open face is spies and saboteurs and assassins and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So this other side, I think they're called the Seekers, if I remember correctly, and it's a secret, obviously, from the other cults. And what you know is that this particular location here, this isn't a place where people go to retire, or like you put it has all the appearances of a place being where you dump people. Someone who's like their careers or their career path in the Chroniclers is going nowhere. You stick them there and let them deal with the poor scrappers who are too stupid or too old to move on to more fertile, scrap fields. Mm-hmm. But there's a secret.
Ooh,
this location is a hub for delivering information for spies, listening posts up and down the region. In addition, the Helvetics, the militaristic cult that occupies the Alpine passes in what was once Switzerland, the Helvetics do not like the Chroniclers, because the Chroniclers, what they want to do is get in there and get access to that ancient computer tech and all the other stuff that's in there. You know, so unsurprisingly, they're not really fond of the chroniclers either. This is another place that's it's key to be there, and I think because of two triggers, you know the name of the chronicler who operates this listening post.
Interesting.
Yeah, what do you think his name is? They often have very purpose, like they don't keep their normal names. They keep. I'll give you examples from the book here. Example names for chroniclers include things like Eject, Outlook, Nike. You can also put numbers in them too. Token.
How do we call him? Matrix.
Yeah. So there's it's a chronicler who goes by the name of Matrix, who operates this thing, and I think you have with two triggers. We'll say that you've got some kind of connection, whether you've corresponded with this person or what, and I'll let you fill it in once we get to town.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that interface isn't telling about this stuff, but is Ulpiano the kind of guy who just talks on about, like, once he's, if he knows that he's going to see this girl again?
No, I actually don't think he'd bring the girl up. I don't think, that the romance would interest interface, and I also, because of what her business is, it's not science, and science is sort of how we connect, so I wouldn't want him to let him know that. Wouldn't even bring it up, I don't think.
Okay. So I
think I would just be talking about the quality of the inn and, stuff like that.
So I'm picturing this place is nestled in kind of one of these, like, southern Franken foothills, these rolling hills that are going along. They're fairly desolate down here, particularly with the ash that seems to fall from from Franca. And what you normally learn to expect is to keep an eye out for lights. Even in this dusk, it stands out against the rest of the landscape. Because again, it's a post-apocalyptic setting. There's dust and trackless, empty miles between all the different destinations. But as you crest the hill, what you see is Vaso before you, but no lights. There are the buildings that you've seen there. There's the water towers. There is the big building that sort of serves as both the tavern, the inn, the local place to eat and whatever. The place to kind of sleep if you need to sleep indoors. And then there's the nearby. There is a scrapper's shop, and there is the sort of the place for the chronicler, where they deal with the travelers. It's built like a small little fortified fort to keep people out. But as you come over, you can see there's no lights from any of the buildings, and there is no sign of anyone.
This place stinks of death. Is this the way it should be?
Not at all. It's clearly gone on here.
Interface does some weird breathing noise. I can't smell anything with this on.
That's awesome.
A little troublesome. This place should be lit up.
Ulpiano just says, out of course of habit, you spare a glance up at the mollusk, the tip of your splayer.
Yeah.
And it just drifts there in the liquid.
Meaning that there's probably not any spore stuff going on here?
They're generally out to about 100 meters is where it will detect it. So you may need to get closer if you want to. But from where you are, no sign of any spore whatsoever.
It's like the car of this town has been corrupted. We should venture further in.
Does Interface know what that weird spear thing does?
I think give me a intelligence and lore check, please.
Well, I think if we've been traveling together,
Like
it's something
artifact
I would-
lore?
Which one?
Artifact lore?
Do you have any networking?
I have 2.
2 in networking. Add those dice to it.
Okay. So artifact lore and add 2. Okay. That is also an intelligence, so two.
Wouldn't be, sorry, not artifact lore. It would be. Well, no, that's fine. That's fine. But you're rolling about the same for both of the skills anyway. So yeah, you definitely know that it signifies the presence of sepsis, which is like the when it grows on the ground or in your body, spores in general, affected insects, or even worse, psychivores.
Because I think
Or
Interface has
psychonauts.
almost unreasonable fear of these spore things. So under his mask, he occasionally darts his eye at the tip of the spear
Okay.
to check it.
Would everyone give me a perception check, please? It'll be under instinct.
Perceiving.
I'm too busy looking at the spear.
Okay.
under.
Instinct, the bottom right, I think. Nice, Juliana. Holy shit.
Wow.
And 2 triggers as well, too. So, I mean, it makes sense that you would be the one paying the closest attention here. And what I'll do is I'm going to give you 2 extra dice on your initiative roll. Because what you see is you hear some smashing, and then you see 4 men come out of the main room, the sort of main, building there. They are all dressed in like rags and patchwork clothes. It's from one of the less successful, you would guess, from the less successful clans. Gray, dirty hair, but the vicious weapons that they carry, hand weapons, they seem to be remarkably effective, or like they would be. So there's 4 men who come out, and they turn and shout back. What you can hear is the sound of more in there. Unfortunately, none of these are people you recognize. So, why don't we do this, guys? Let's drop into initiative. Or first, let's do this. We're well past our midway point. Let's roll initiative first here for the first round. Oh, nice. Well, Pino, did you roll initiative already?
No.
Oh, then hold on. Let me get rid of here. Boom.
That was
Okay, so and I think you need to click on your token. So click on your token and then click on initiative. Yep, that worked. Interface is showing up in the turn order.
Where's initiative?
It is
It's under combat.
combat. Yeah,
Okay.
nice. So remember, the number of triggers that you roll, that is how
shoot,
many
I was
actions you
add
get.
to it.
Yep.
Oh, and
Okay.
you can also you can add ego. We'll roll every round anyway, so like if you didn't think to do it this round, and also you may not want to do that because ego does recover fairly.
and you have to state that before the roll, Kev, or
You do. You got to call it beforehand, and then that also gives you your first roll. So ego does recover slowly, but the game encourages you to make use of it. It's sort of a thing that helps make you. I have it. The NPCs have it, and I'll be using it for them as well.
Is there any detrimental effect to having lower
if you
ego?
if you run out of ego, you pass out, or something similar.
Well,
or
that's
you give up.
detrimental. I'm
Yeah.
gonna count that as detrimental.
Yeah. So the ego spending on the thing doesn't seem to work properly either. So nice. So Sakari's got things. Steve, did you click on your token and then roll initiative?
Yes.
I think he didn't click on his token.
Where's there we go.
No,
All right.
Steve rolled perception last. He hasn't rolled.
Yeah, he hasn't rolled
initiative
initiative yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
and I gotta roll for them. Hold on.
And Kev, I was supposed to add 2 to mine, right? Sorry for my
Yes.
perception
So
roll?
add 2 extra dice. That's right.
Oh, 2 extra dice.
Yeah. Not 2 to the actual result. 2 to the number of dice you roll.
Oh. Okay, so let me change it back to 2. So I would just roll 2 more d6 then?
Yes, just roll 2d6s and then. No successes. Okay.
Sorry, just looking for mine.
It's under combat, Steve. Near the bottom, you click on the combat, and then it'll trigger.
Okay, there it is.
black tab.
I got 2 successes and 1 trigger, so but they're not really aware of you right now. So let's do the awesome. Okay, we got everyone in there hitting descending. Let's take a quick 5-minute break, guys, and then we'll come back and see what happens with these clanners, and we'll check in with chat. Okay,
Awesome.
back momentarily. All right. Oh, hey, well, yeah, it was going to start. And hi, Brian. It was going to start tomorrow, but we just decided to. I've been working on this all day today. And we decided to give it a try tonight. All right, all right, all right. Oh, and Dave isn't here because he's with his family this weekend. Oh my. All right. Oh, you know, maybe I'll put a. Do I have something I can use for a token for these guys?
Yeah. I'm excited that you brought this game out.
Yeah, it's something that I like. When it's my buddy Sean actually recommended it, and I just like the art is just incredible in the game, and I love post-apocalyptic games, but I often find a hard time. Or have a hard time kind of figuring out what I would do with them, you know, like what am I gonna, what's the world gonna be like in it? Mm-hmm. And they're often kind of, I mean, silly as well. They just kind of, and this just has it's a beautiful thing. It's got a really interesting world, and reading the books has been very, it's really neat because it's an act of kind of, you know, exploring that world because they don't just present it in a very, you know, like kind of plain neutral, like this is this and this is this and whatnot. Like you have to work for stuff. You have to try and piece stuff together from what you're reading to get a picture of the greater whole, which is super cool.
So, yeah, I almost completely forgot that I downloaded these things, so I'm gonna have to spend some hours tomorrow going through it.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, it's a pretty cool. Ooh, that looks good. Got some tokens for our. And I'm going to set up. Let's see here. Conditions for them. Yeah. Oh boy.
I did have a question. On my character's attack with the vocoder,
Yep.
it says it does damage one ego. Does that literally damage their ego?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, plus the amount of triggers that you roll. So the way that yours makes use of something called a combination roll. You make one roll, and then each trigger that you roll on that feeds into the next one as successes, assuming you succeed in that roll. And then you make the second roll, and then the same thing, like it's triggers add to the result.
So if it says intelligence and engineering, I go to intelligence.
Yep.
There's engineering, so that'll be a total of 6.
Yep.
And then I get the 1 from my fractal memory.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep. And then you would roll, so you'd roll that, figure out how many triggers you get, because your ability, your fractal mind ability, you get at least 1, and then you would roll a second one. The psyche and domination, yeah.
Psyche and domination would be 5 total.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
ouch.
6 because of you're getting at least 1 trigger, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Go.
Those are some good pictures.
All right. So, Sakari's going first in the initiative order. You know what? I'll give... first, let me copy one of these guys. Put him down here. And I'll add turn here. They're going on 2. Triggers are normally the tiebreaker for this stuff. So let's see here. First up is... Sakari rolled how many triggers? 2 triggers. Nice.
Yeah.
Pretty
so
good.
Thunderstrike area damage, is this like a single target and then it does an area, or is it like right in front of me?
It's directly out from you. It's something that, like, you can see in your illustration. There's that pole you're carrying around. It's sort of like, blast that out. You could just shout, or you could shout a word, or whatever way you want to have it described. The net effect, though, is just the same. Cool. So first up is Sakari. You got highest initiative. You guys are probably about 100 meters away from these guys right now, looking down on a hill, going down into there. It's a clear line of sight down there, and 4 of them, there's 2 of them who are standing just in the doorway, and then there should be 1 more in there too. Where is he here? 2 in the doorway. I'll move over here, and then 4 that are sort of have spilled out. What? Yeah, what are you going to do, Sakari?
So, did they have weapons in hand?
They do. It's, hatchets, it's crude, it's the stuff that, like, there's probably, like, a crude knife amongst them. It's the stuff that's not really, it's what the, like, bandits could get away with.
Okay. I draw my Kopesh.
Yep.
Is there a moon?
There is. Let's see here. Let's say there's a moon.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm asking for flavor. So
Sure.
if
you want there to be one, you can be the one.
Excellent. It gleams in the moonlight. Ka has blessed me. I will decimate these troops and cut their life threads so they cannot be judged by Osiris.
Okay.
And I start marching down there.
Okay.
He doesn't know that's the right thing to do. He's just going, which is his nature.
Okay, so one of the things that is interesting on the character sheets here is moving in a certain amount inflicts a penalty on you, but also makes it harder to hit. So and you can automatically toggle that under combat. I've toggled for each of you that you are aware, because just being conscious and, like, being aware that you're in combat adds 1 to your passive defense. Your passive defense comes at 2. You can spend, if someone is attacking you, you can spend an action preemptively to defend as well. And then what you get to do is you get to roll either, what is it? It's your mobility and agility, or it's one of your defensive skills. And then if you tie the number of successes that the target that the attacker has, it does not attack. It doesn't hit you.
And in terms of movement, just so I know how long it take me to reach them or them to reach me.
Yep.
It says movement for meters, but is that how much I move on a turn? It's 4 meters?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's see here.
So it's going to take me a while to get down to them because they're 100 meters.
Yeah. And they're completely unaware of you right now.
Ah, yeah. Well, I still want to go down there, I guess.
Okay. What I'll do is
so-
I'll make a perception check and see if they notice you.
Okay.
Okay, so you're starting to make your way down. What about Judge Eckert? What are you doing?
Yes, I'll follow and make my way down as well.
Okay, so you're going to get your hammer ready, I guess?
The hammer's always ready.
Always ready. All right. Interface, what are you doing? Now, from the way you guys are describing it, no one's making any effort to try and conceal themselves. They're just walking down, right?
No, I would never do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd never conceal myself.
All right.
Got to show them who's boss, right?
Okay.
And see, this is why I like the judge.
Interface, what are you doing?
I am going to follow down a moderate distance behind the two.
Okay.
Take my time.
All right. And then it's Karina, what are you doing? Oh, you're muted, Arlen.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So I've got this great big sword, so I'm picturing that sort of like a Landschneck. I kind of walk around with it propped up on my shoulder most of the time.
Sure.
But like wrapped in some sort of cloth to keep it protected. So you can see me kind of walking slowly and kind of shrugging it off my shoulder and pulling the cloth off of it and stuffing it back somewhere else. And the blade,
You know what we'll say, guys? When do you want them to notice you? Like, how close do you want things to be before you start doing stuff?
I'll leave it up to the people who know what they're doing.
movement.
What's that?
What was that, Darren?
What is one action worth of movement?
One action where the movement is... Let's see here.
For me, I think it's 4 meters.
Battle, I'm looking in. Movement.
Oh, it's listed on the character sheet.
Yeah. Maximum distance is body plus athletics in meters, and if you move at least 2 meters, you suffer -2 dice on actions, but you also gain a passive defense of +1. So, whatever your body plus athletics is, that's how much... yeah, that's how much you can move per turn. And if you've got multiple actions, you can split that between your actions. So how much can you guys move per turn, then?
4.
4? 6, okay.
And I'm 4 as well.
4 as well.
Let's see. My move is 3.
3, okay, you're a little slower. Judge, what's your move? Oop, someone's dog is there, too.
5 meters.
5 meters, okay. So, each round... Combat round encompasses 4 seconds. So, you guys can really, in the span of, what, less than a minute, you can get yourself to within 10 meters of these guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that, and I want to, as we're going, I'm just keeping an eye on them and seeing, are they clearly drunk or anything? Are they arguing? Is going on, or
Yeah, I mean, what they're arguing about is the fact that there wasn't enough here. They're shouting, and I think, let's say that around 20 meters is when they notice you. And they sort of see you guys coming down, and one of them is like, hey, and they all look over, and they're filthy, like they look like you would think that they were scrappers if they had more gear and had like an actual carrying harness on them or something like that, the type of thing that scrappers normally have. Judge, you would definitely think of them as thieves or bandits. But they look over at you and they I wonder if they're gonna run or if they're gonna... Let's make a check here.
I have a flavorful thing that I add in if interface noticing us.
Okay, they all look at each other and they've got stuff in their hand, like there's stuff that they've carried out from inside here, and they turn, they're like, go, run! And it's a judge, get out of here! And that's what they're going to start doing. So let's assume... Well, here, let's do this. Let's re-roll initiative, guys. We'll remove all turns. You are 20 meters away from these guys. Let me roll for them. Hold on, I could probably come up with something a little more exciting here. What do I got? What do I got? Oh, here we go.
So, just to make sure I understand it, movement is not one of your actions that you get for your initiative roll, but is something that you get to do over the course of your turn, just every turn.
And just if you
So
happen
you
to
can't
move...
like triple move like in Pathfinder.
Exactly. No. What you can do is you can move up to your maximum move, but if you incorporate, and you can split that amongst your actions if you want, but if you happen to move more than your... Oh, Jesus. Hey, take it easy. Oof. Good lord. Battle of Helm's Deep here. Good. What it means is you can move, you can split that amongst your actions. Just if you in your turn, if you're moving 2 meters or more, that's when you trigger the -2. So just, and you can tick that on your character sheet when you make your attack roll. So we have uno, dos, tres. Who am I missing? Steve, buddy, we need you to pay attention, man.
Yes, sorry.
So we need you to roll initiative.
Got it. All right. That's right. Got it.
Okay.
Here.
For them.
4.
Whoa, nice. Okay. I rolled 2 successes for them. So let's put this in descending. Boom. We'll add them back in. All right, guys. So move them up there. First up. Oh, should be a 2. First up is Judge Eckert and Ulpiano. The Ulpiano's got a. So you're up first, Ulpiano, because you have rolled
I don't
one
see
trigger.
myself being as the first one to attack.
Okay. So what are you doing then? You're the first one to act here. There's no held actions in the game. You take an action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you don't have a held action.
No, you can't do if act. You can drop down in the initiative order, but you have to pick what you're doing in your act after whatever whoever else is acting that turn.
Right.
If you want to act before, then you pick a. Yeah.
Well, let's see. What are my? So my main weapon then is this actual spear thing.
You also have the what do you call it? The what's it called? A fungicide rifle, which you could
Okay.
load with you have 3 different things. There's basically like a napalm type thing you've got, or effectively like a powerful narcotic.
Cool.
Yeah, which I don't think I'd pull that out right away here.
Yep.
So I guess I'll move up and attack with my what's it called?
Splayer?
Splayer?
Yeah, Splayer is your spear.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, so 20 meters. Can you move that far? What's your...
Oh, we're still 20 meters away?
Yeah, let's say you're... Yeah.
Oh,
So it doesn't
okay.
become a
Well,
chase.
then-
Let's... You know what, guys? Let's just say that you're 10 meters away, because I don't want to have to this become a chase.
Sure.
Okay.
You know, we're trying to kind of get a feel for the combat system here anyway. So
he points his flare at them and he'll close the distance and, yell at them.
okay,
You
what is it?
there!
All right.
Stop!
What is your move again?
4 meters.
4 meters. Okay. So you're running in a little closer. I think one of them is going to... hold on. That's not my action. Judge, what are you doing?
Judge is going to raise his sledgehammer above his head and yell and start running forward. 5
Okay.
meters.
Ah, and you're running forward. So I think you said your move was what was it?
5.
5. Oh, yeah, so you're only 5 meters away from these guys now. Interface, you're up next. What are you doing?
I didn't get any triggers, so does that mean I don't get any actions?
No, you get 1 action. Always 1
Okay.
plus, whatever triggers you roll.
Okay, so moving is just the 1 action, so he's just going to move in closer. Then.
No, move's not an action. Move's independent of your actions.
Okay, so yeah, he's gonna march himself forward as 3 meters because he's slow.
Okay.
And then he's gonna click on his vocoder and it's gonna start crackling with like that slow wind up to the internet screeching sound.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna try to do it to intimidate them.
Okay, love it. So Kari, what are you doing?
Run.
Okay, so I'm gonna move up my 4 meters I'm gonna say I wasn't wearing my Anubis mask.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use an action to put it on, which are these freaking cool looking like skeletal, half masks that go to here.
Yeah.
And I hold up my kopech to say, "You are disturbing the wave. You
Okay.
shall die."
And your accent would sound strange to these locals as well too. All right, so then it is their turn. I think two of them are making a break for it, and what's their speed? I've got 4. Ocarina's only on a 1. Jeez.
It's okay. If they move in, I'm going to be able to move in and start hitting them.
Awesome. So I think will start with 4 of them will move in, and they're where is it here? Movement. Okay, 5. All right, so they're able to move in to sort of meet up with you guys as you moved in. Judge, I have 2 are coming in on you,
Dun, 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 dun,
and
dun.
we'll have 1. So 2 of them are running. 1 is going to go in on Piano, and 1 of them is running towards you. Actually, no, we'll take this battalion down. Oh, no, let's go here. Sakari's close, so we'll run up to the Sakari. So Sakari, they are now 1 meter away, which means they can attack. So, they take -2.
Now I can use a reaction, right, if I want to.
You
I
can't.
have 2 triggers.
Sure. What?
Is that the way it works?
Well, no. Your actions you all take on your turn.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
and there's not ready actions in it per se. So,
But there was some way to defend, or
yes, you can spend since you've got 2 actions, you can spend an action defending actively if you want,
yeah, that's
because you got nothing else to do with it, right? Okay, cool. So then,
gotcha. But you have to declare that on your turn. Is that how it works?
yes, no, you
Got
can,
it.
no, you can. We'll say that you banked 1 of them as a defense, knowing that was going on.
Great.
So let's. I've got -2 because of I ran. So do you, I think, because of how fast you went.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm gonna make an attack with my knife here. Holy shit! I rolled 3 6s.
Oh, man.
It begins.
That was a fun
It
game.
begins.
Yeah.
All right, so he comes up. But here, that's. I got 3 successes. Go ahead and right now your passive defense, because you're actually that's just enough right now. So if you beat my successes, then yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
so
And make,
what am I rolling? My attack roll?
no, or your agility and mobility. If you're you're blocking, use your the defense with whatever ability you're using. Your Kopesh.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Here we go.
Come on.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, 'cause did it prompt for modifier?
Yep, I hit it, but nothing happened. I'm doing it again. Submit. Okay, that's weird. It was working fine before.
Let's see here. Maybe it's just.
I'm gonna hit something else. I'm just gonna hit dodge just to see if that comes through.
Oh,
Okay, that dodge went through. Okay, so let me try it again. See if it.
when it gives you the modifier, is it hitting what it was doing for me before was giving you a weird error? You may need to drop down and put the modifier to 0 instead of some other thing it's trying to add in.
Let me see. That is odd.
Let's see here.
It is.
Let's see if defense works for me.
What?
Let's see here.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's weird. Dodge
Okay.
works fine.
What's the modifier? Yeah, defense isn't working for me either.
Okay.
Yeah, so it could just be that that's not. Go ahead and make just a melee. It should automatically give the if you click. So it's your on Sakari. I'm ticking active and on your feet, and I'm ticking in on motion. So that'll calculate your passive defense property. You see under state.
Yep.
Yeah, I just ticked both of those for you.
Okay.
And go ahead and make your melee roll.
Same thing. So want,
Really? What is going
yeah.
on?
I'm gonna close my sheet. Well, no, you just opened my sheet and tried it.
Let's see
I'm
here.
closing it anyway.
Melee.
I'm reopening
Well,
it.
the other sheets worked before, right? So like, let me.
Yeah,
try
my-
them.
I just got-
can make a melee attack.
And I can make a melee roll for you as well.
Okay. So that's very strange. I just
so-
reopened my sheet.
Click on, and then custom modifier, 0, submit. Boom, did it again. Now I'm just showing off.
Yeah, that's okay. Let me try it again.
When I was testing my
That's
rifle
weird.
before, I was having problems with it just like moving to the chat window.
Yeah, like that kick works. Below works. And Kopesh doesn't want me to use it.
Yeah, your attack just
That
rolled
is-
now.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
try
it's
kick and
not the
blow.
Oh, not for the Kopesh.
But then when I click Kopesh, it doesn't do it. That's so odd. The other ones work no problem.
It's a Scourger. I wonder.
Do you have like multiple ranges on your? No, never mind. That's probably not.
No. Like all my other attacks seem to work no problem.
Let's see here. Get that. Okay.
So when you click it, it works fine. So
Yep.
it's
Well, that's when I'm rolling on that. When I'm rolling on the Kopesh as attack.
oh yeah, try that.
Let's see here.
That's what I've been working on.
Modifier 0. No, it's not working for me either.
Okay, all right. At least I know I'm not crazy.
Well, let's not.
That was the most important thing.
Yeah. I wonder why that's. Let's see here. Close. I wonder if I add a different modifier in. Let's see here. 1. Submit. Nah, doesn't seem to be working at all.
Oh,
That's weird because it wasn't working for me before, and then it did start working. Whatever. I mean, can you get your melee skill to work?
Let's see here. I bet I can. Just get up here to melee. Here we go. Melee custom modifier.
Yes. Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
All right. So then that should be.
And it did it properly.
It did include the action modifier. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, yeah. So that's 2. So unfortunately, it's not enough. He does hit you.
Okay.
So you take. Let's see here. Your armor. We'll subtract from this. Do you have any armor?
Let's see here. Armor. Yeah, no, I do not. 0.
You do not. Okay. So the damage is.
I don't need armor.
You don't need armor. So it's 7 points of damage. That's 7 flesh wounds. So apply that to the blue.
So we're going. So it's going up.
Yes, please. So this guy comes in and stabs at you. Judge Eckert, we got 2 on you, buddy. Do you wish to? You haven't taken an action. Do you want to spend your action defending?
Yes, that sounds prudent. Let us defend.
Okay. So make sure on your character sheet, under combat, under status, make sure you've got ticked that you were in motion, because you're going to take a penalty from racing in there. Let me make my attack roll.
Motion. Got it. Okay.
First guy does not hit you. Second guy might hit you.
Might.
Yeah.
All right.
So go ahead and give us a. Hold on. You're
In motion.
now the one thing that doesn't track is the handling, because you're the thing that. Let me see if this works properly here for Steve. See, that worked. I just rolled defense.
I'm putting it back in. I'm putting in a new.
New thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Steve.
see what
So
happens.
just click on defense. Oh, hold up. I got a second here. Now, one of the things I haven't seen this online, but what I would be inclined to do as a house rule is to allow use of ego for any role as well, because I mean it's an expendable resource. So if you use it, you're going to lose it anyway. But it doesn't seem like you could normally spend ego on defense rolls unless you spent ego on your initiative roll and all you did was defend. I will say also in the newest book, Artifacts, which is also free on the website, they've got a bunch of things to make combat more tactical. So there's a bunch of tactical options like aiming and all-out attacks and stuff like that. So the core rulebook doesn't have that kind of complexity, but it does add that in. Judge.
So, to go back to ego spinning for just a second.
Yep.
Normally 1 for 1, 1 ego for 1 die.
Yes, that applies to both the initiative and the first roll you make that round.
Okay, but you could, even if you didn't spend it on initiative, house rule to spend it on your
I
action
would be.
just
Yeah,
lose the
let's.
benefit
I
from
think that.
initiative.
I think that I'd be fine with that. Because I don't like it's a expendable resource anyway. So if you use that for defenses, it's just like defensive uses of Astonishing Fortune, and if it's gone anyway, right? The ego's gone. So what I'm saying is that yes, if you want to spend ego on your defense rolls, go nuts.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So then, Steve, I need you to roll. Click on the defense on your hammer,
All right.
please. I rolled for you.
Yes, you did. Oh, yeah, you did. So I don't.
No, you can roll. You roll because I didn't have the movement penalty.
Okay, so
'Cause
I've got
you've got-
judgment. Yes.
And then click on defense.
Locate at stowed at hand. So I got weapons, judgment hammer. Where's my stupid?
It says defense.
There it is.
Yep.
Okay. Input value, nothing. There we go. 2.
2. Not good enough either.
Oh.
Steve, you are stabbed. Now, you have armor on, I think, because your coat. So
Yes.
you subtract. So it's 4 points of damage for the knife. You subtract 2 for your coat. Means you take 2 flesh wounds. So add 2 to the blue number, please.
All right.
All right. Then it is. I got 1 on you there, old piano. Oh, I got a second one on Judge Eckert too. So multiple attackers in this game are no fucking joke. Like it's really easy to get ganged up on and get taken down pretty quickly. I do not hit, however. So do not get past your defenses. Old piano. This one that comes charging in is going to try and take you down with this hatchet. Ah! You ran and you were aware your current passive defense is a 3, right?
Where does it say that?
Under the combat tab.
Oh, it says 2.
So you should also have ticked mobile because you moved more than 2 meters.
Oh, in motion. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, 3. Yeah,
Yes.
you're right.
So okay. So you come charging in, and this is a wild swing. It does not get you. Karina, finally your turn. Sorry about that.
All right. I am going to. Judge is tough. He can handle himself, but our medic getting in trouble is not a good idea. So I'm going to go on the one on El Piano. I'm not going to spend any ego, so I don't have great odds of hitting, but
Okay.
I'm going to swing the Biden hammer for
Okay.
the first time.
All right. Here we go. So now, do you want to spend? Sorry, did you say you spent any ego or?
No, I'm not spending ego. I'm
Okay.
going to spend ego on the initiative next round to get the double bonus.
Nice. All right, so go ahead. You've got the mobility to get into range to get -2 for that, and then the Biden hander also has a
handling penalty.
handling
too.
penalty. But let's see. But
Yeah,
if
so I've
it
only got
hits,
3 dice, but
here we go.
hey, there we go.
Nice. So it is in motion, so its passive defense goes up. I say it like it's not a thing. So 3 is good enough to hit, and it's not defending. So your thing, and how many triggers did you roll there?
I rolled 1.
So it does 12 points of damage. This thing's entire condition is 8. So what does it look like as Karina comes charging in and carves this one down?
Oh, it's the classic, Obi-Wan bisecting Darth Maul just kind of comes through right in the midsection. And
Actually, technically, this thing has 1 trauma left. So it's got -4 to all of its actions, but it's dying.
yeah, so my sword gets stuck in it for a second and I wrench it out.
Nice.
So I don't quite get all the way through, but that's for next time.
Yeah. Oh, and you can do it from a meter, from 3 feet behind El Piano too, because it's got a range of 2 meters.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
awesome.
I'm up in the mix right now. I'm not hanging back.
Okay, so I'll put him. This thing is here -12. Also, for those listening at home, good idea to wear armor because these fuckers do not have armor on. Rags offer very little in the way of protection. Okay, so then with that carved down, let's clear the list here, guys. Everyone click on your token, click on your initiative, decide whether you're spending any ego, and make sure you're adding that to your thing. All of these fuckers are going to add ego to their roll now.
I'm definitely going to do that as well, yeah.
Okay. So they are acting on, I got 1, 2, 3,
Oh, yeah.
3, 4, 5. I got 5. Oof.
That's a 1.
So
Oh, brutal.
spinning an ego gave me a 4, right?
Oh, I got a 5. And a thing.
Oh,
No,
okay.
spending ego increases your dice. It doesn't increase your score.
Yeah,
Okay.
increases the number of dice you roll. And then
So
also,
the custom modifier is not where you put that in.
you kind of have to because the
You
ego
can't
thing
put that
seems
in
to be
there?
broken on the character sheet. And then the green is your ego tracker, guys. So just reduce your by whatever you spend.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
Oh, fuck me.
Carve up some motherfuckers.
Oh, Sakari. So who
Forgot
are
to-
you missing here?
I forgot to hit my token.
Oh, Piano, yours did not go through. I think I think you forgot to collect the token.
I had clicked it, but maybe I unclicked it.
Oop.
But I did
Okay.
click on it.
All right. So then here we go. Descending. On a 5, I rolled 2 triggers. What?
Oh no!
Oh no.
I only rolled 1 trigger.
Uh-oh. Well, one of them's down. We got, all right, so then I guess it's them first. Judge Eckert, how many triggers did you roll? 2. And you're a hero, so Judge Eckert, you're up first.
Oh yeah,
You can
I'm
take
gonna
3 actions.
Power of the law.
Sweet. I am going to destroy them both. I shall hit one with my sledgehammer and knocketh it
Okay.
into the other.
Oh, hold on. You guys reminded me something about the impact. Now, how many triggers did you roll, Karina, on the last attack?
Only 1 on the last one.
Only 1 on the last one. Okay. So both the beaten hammer and the sledgehammer have an ability called, or a quality called impact. What that means is, here's your weapon qualities. Agile. Oh boy. Impact. If you've rolled at least a number of triggers equal to your impact rating, you don't need to. Then you can use it again on your next action to defend or attack. If you don't roll that many triggers, you lose your balance and you need 1 action to get a grip on the weapon again.
Okay.
So yours, I think, is impact 2, and the Judgment Hammer is an impact 3. So you're gonna want to roll lots of triggers here, Steve-O. Now, did you spend any ego on your initiative roll?
I did not. No.
Okay. So then you're not getting any bonus to this roll. Go ahead and make your first attack roll there, Steve-O. This thing is going to spend 1 action defending, so...
Okay, so what the heck am I hitting here? The larger than 1 meter?
Take the, what do you call it, mobility, or in motion modifier off, because you're not running in anymore.
Okay, that's right.
That'll take away the -2 penalty, and then, yes, that lesser...
Less there you go.
Yeah, that's the one you want to roll. I only
Okay.
rolled 2 for my defenses.
No
And you rolled
mods.
3 for the hit. Amazing. So, damage is only 6 on that?
Only? Alright. It's not
1
bad.
base and 5 force. And
Yeah, that seems... Is it only 1?
Sledgehammers are awkward.
Okay, so you didn't use any...
Well, he's got to keep a hand free to, call upon his god.
Yes. And one thing, Steve, your codex, once per combat, you can look at your, you can spend a turn thinking about your codex and recover 1 ego.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah. All right, so the Judgment Hammer, it's 1 + 4, so 6 damage. So you hammer one of these and it staggers back. But unfortunately, you swung it so heavy, it's thrown you off. And then you're going to need to spend your next action recovering this, which gives them lots of opportunities here.
But Steve still has 1 more action because he rolled 2 triggers.
2 triggers, yeah. So 1 action is to recover it, and you want to make another attack then, Steve?
Yes, I would like to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Think
Thanks, Arlen. Sorry.
think bot, broken
Against the
arrow.
same one or against the other one? Can I make it against the same one? Or
You can. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Then let's just finish her off.
Okay.
There we go. And 2.
Oh,
I attack
and
it with the 2.
yeah, and I'm not spending another. 2 is all you need to hit. So yeah, boom, another 6. That dings it down to a. What do you think that looks like as you bring this one down?
Well, the first one hobbled her. I hit her in the hip, and then there was sort of a solid crunch there, and so she sort of doubled over. And then I bring the thing down over the top, and it lands on the back of her skull.
Justice is brought to this brigand. All right, down on the ground. Then the other one is going to leap at you. She still has all 3 actions. So first one is going to be to try and hit you. And these knives are nasty. If I roll 2 triggers on the knife, why don't I roll in chat? It sounds like that'd be more fun.
Really?
Really? If I roll 2 triggers, then it means I get to attack again on the same action. Boom. First one here. 2 triggers. Boom. But and I rolled enough to get a hit. So this will do 6 points of damage, Steve. You reduce it by your 2 armor, so you take another 4 flesh wounds, and then it'll attack again. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Now, hold on. I think. Sorry, guys, and for those listening at home, I'm looking up a lot of stuff because this is the first time I run this game, so I will be learning. I can't remember if there's a penalty they get for that extra attack.
I hope so.
Yes, a penalty of -2. I knew it. I knew it is up there. Okay.
Yeah, it seems like otherwise you could just change
Yeah,
it
really.
like 12 strikes if you got lucky.
It's a game where it's a get back at every time you did shit damage with the dagger in D&D. Knife is the most deadly weapon in the game. I'm stabbing everyone. All right, let's roll 4d6. Your passive defense is a 2. We go. That's 2. It's a hit with another fucking trigger. So, Steve, this thing stabs at you and then stabs again. And you take, that would be 5 points of damage, -2 from your armor is 3 flesh wounds that get through.
Okay, 3.
Okay.
Total of 9.
Yep. That was one of its attacks.
Oh, my.
Ooh.
That's not
Second. Come on. That is 1, 2, 3 gets through. Another 4 points of damage. Take 2, Steve.
Oh, that means I'm down. I'm getting into my traumas here.
No, you're at 11. If it hits you again, it'll be.
Okay.
Yeah, you can only take 2 more, so you're at 11 flesh wounds right now. But let's see. Its final attack. Steve.
Swing and a miss.
Hold your
Big
breath.
time.
Now, here's what you can do, Steve. If you want to defend and try and get more successes, you can lose an action from your next pass.
Okay.
Do you want to do that,
sure.
or do you want to let me roll against 2? Okay, so then why don't you roll your defense with your Judgment Hammer?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, fuck, you know what? Hold on, you didn't roll enough successes to ready your Judgment Hammer.
Yeah,
again.
so I think it's out.
Oh.
because
So
of
here's
impact.
what you can do, though. You can roll your agility plus mobility. And
Let's do it.
dodge. Sure.
Okay.
Now, rules is written. I can't remember if you can do that in Melee, but we're allowing it for now.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Agility plus mobility. Let's see here. Where's that at?
So it's under agility. Agility is, I think, middle column top.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, and then mobility.
Here
Okay,
we go.
and submit. 5.
Holy
Nice.
shit! With a bunch of
Voice.
triggers, too. So 5 is what they need to hit you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Steve, what amazing bit of footwork is this that allows you to survive this?
Well, hey man, the judge ain't new at this business. This is right up his alley. So he just he sees us coming from a mile away and sort of definitely does a sort of a deep duck, sort of low down duck underneath the attack, and then comes across with sort of a practice swing maneuver across over the top, and it lands on the collarbone and crushes her.
Well, it didn't do any damage to her. But
right.
It's a cool
Okay.
flourish. Okay, so though I think there's certain things you can do if you roll a certain amount of triggers, you can do a counterattack on a defense. Hold on, Steve. You may actually have something here. Hold on, because when you roll defense, I can't remember if it's 3 triggers or 2 triggers.
So he's only got 1, right?
No, he rolled 2.
Oh, he got 2.
Yeah, he got 2. I can't remember if it triggers this. Let's see here. Environmental factors, active defense. If he gets more successes and 3 triggers, then he manages a counterattack. Okay, so 3, but it was good of you to remind me. All right, so then Sokari, we got one of them on you here.
Okay.
Do you want to spend any of your actions defending, or?
I I think I'm gonna have to. Let me just double check how many actions I have.
I'm going to double check here just to see what the order of, because I keep asking us beforehand.
I think I only have one.
You get 2, because you have one normally, and then your trigger gave you another one.
But I didn't roll the trigger. I get.
Didn't you roll 4?
Oh, sorry. No. I was trying to make sure the Kopesh. I got Kopesh to work. Sorry. Yes, I got 1 trigger. So I have 2 actions. I'm going to use one to defend. Yes.
Okay. I'm just checking to see if... none of the examples... Oh, wait, hold on. I'm trying to figure out if you need to see whether they hit you first and then you make the defense, but... Does it...
I find it a little bit hard to find rules in the book.
Oh, yeah. So you make the decision after you're hit.
Okay.
Because it's
I like that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, because it says Fallberg gets 4 successes and 1 trigger. The Asudi only gets 1 success due to the... Hold on. Yeah, he hits with a bod plus melee 7, and the Asudi can only defend actively. Okay. Okay. All right, so then you don't need to make that decision until we see what happens here. Boom. Rolling the dice. I got 1, 2. So I think it's enough to hit. So you want to roll active defense, or you're...
I think I'm going to, yeah, because I don't want to die immediately. And
Yeah.
I got the Kopesh to work. So it was that because its handling is, it's just a dash, meaning there is no handling bonus.
Oh, you need to put a 0?
You actually have to put a 0 in, yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thanks for figuring that out. That's
No problem. That kind of stuff makes me crazy.
Amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
So yeah, what does it look like as you batter that first one aside?
So
How many triggers?
he comes in and he attacks, and it goes into slow motion for a moment, and like I let it pass over my head, and then I like hit it with the flat of my blade, so it
Okay.
keeps it going faster.
He staggers back, and then he stabs a second time. No misses.
See what happens?
And third one, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh,
5. Oof.
Yeah,
and 3 triggers. What are you thinking?
Oh.
I think I just in case, because that's gonna kill me probably.
Now, here's something I forgot to things. You could have afforded. I think you could have afforded leather armor if you wanted to, which would have given you a DR of 2. Did you want? Would you care to have worn that? Or
because
what?
I think because he knows even if he would normally wear it in Africa, when he goes to the north, which he's unfamiliar with, he doesn't know what to expect. So he might actually get some, at least for this mission.
Okay, so you've been hit once so far.
One time.
So reduce that by 2, the amount of damage you've taken, and then you take 1, 2, 3, 7 points of damage minus DR.
Okay, so
I think you're at 10. I think you've got all your flesh wounds.
Let me
gone
fix
now.
this. Yeah, so
Okay.
flesh wounds are blue, correct?
Yes, flesh wounds are blue.
Okay, great.
So you
Okay,
take
great.
5
Sorry,
more.
and then how
5
much
more.
did he just do to me?
He did 7
5
in
more?
total. That'll be 5
So
more.
5 more. So I'm
And I get to trigger a second attack. Hold on, at -4, because
because he did 3.
yeah, again, because dagger's the best thing in the game. Fucking 3 again. Do you want to actively defend against that?
I think I have to. So let me roll it. Here we go.
You might, before you roll, you might.
Oh.
Okay, I was gonna say you could spend some ego to, have better odds of
Right.
Yeah.
parrying because.
That makes
Kinda
sense.
nasty.
I got 3.
Okay. So that 3 is enough. The ties go to the defender. So what does it look like? Is he gets this knife in you and then tries to get you again?
I think I actually pull him in closer, so he misses he's trying to stab me in the chest. I
Love
pull
it.
him in closer, and then I push him back.
Awesome. Okay, Karina, you've been seeing this stuff going on.
All right, looks like as usual, Judge and Sakari need my help because I'm such a badass.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take
Yeah.
a 1 meter step to get close enough to hit this one,
Yep.
and I get +3 on this because I spent 3 ego.
Awesome.
So I'm going to roll my Biden.
I'll give you a +1 dice for flanking as well too.
+1 dice for flanking.
That's not
so
it. That's not rules around, but I kind of like the idea of you being able to attack from a lot further. Holy shit! How many triggers is that?
That's 5 successes and 2 triggers, so it doesn't do impact.
But it does. It doesn't. So awesome. So you're able to follow through if you've got another action, and it does 13 points of damage. I'll have to sacrifice an action from the next turn to try and defend here, but I don't think I can get... Well, I could get 5, I guess. Nope. So it loses its next action. But, I mean, it's not going to have a next action because it takes 13. Holy shit. So you split the back of this thing open. This thing is... I keep... play too much with, like, goblins and non-humanoid things. This person who has a mother, it's his back is split wide open. He kind of and falls down, spraying blood out of the back.
And I get 1 ego back because of my potential, because I did more than 5 damage. So that helps.
Awesome.
All right, so a little prayer as you carve
just a little bit of the numinous essence that is the truth comes out of him as the, along with all the blood and viscera and all that sort of stuff.
Yep, love it.
And then, am I in range to hit the one next to Sakari? Because I have another action.
Yep, with that Biden handler, or Beeden handler.
All right. So I get 1 for flanking, but none of the 3 for my ego spend.
No, that was
let's
only
try
the first
this.
roll. There you go. 3. Okay, so that hits. I have to sacrifice an action from next turn. Try and defend here. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, come on, Kev. Come on, Kev. You can do this. I get 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it sees you behind. I think it hears the scream of its ally. Sees you spin and try and bring this thing down, and it just ducks out of the way, out of range, and your thing like drives down deep into the earth. How many triggers did you get there?
I only got 1, so how many did I have to go all the way back to my initiative? Okay, I only got 1 trigger on my initiative roll, so I had 2 actions. So next turn, I'm gonna have to spend my first action getting my Biden Hander back in position.
Okay, great. Sakari, do you have any actions left?
Yeah, I have 1 action left.
Nice.
So I am going to attack. I'm going to save ego, I think, for defense.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to...
So I'll have to double check this, but from what I recall, you can only like pre-spend 1 action. So this thing has, if you can hit it on its passive defense, if you can hit him on the passive defense, he cannot actively defend against it.
Okay, awesome. All right, here we go. This time this is actually gonna work. Here we go.
Oh,
nice.
Big hit. How many triggers?
Damage.
Yeah.
2 triggers on that too. So 11 points of damage. So he dodges out of the way of that Biedenhander in time to be eviscerated by your Kopesh.
So I think what we see from Sakari's perspective is that everything we're like seeing through his mask, and this guy looks ghostly. Everything around him looks ghostly, and we see like the strand of life that goes through his body and like knots where the chakras are. Yeah. And the Kopesh slices right through the ghostly form and cuts the cord.
That's
and
awesome.
And then he drops.
And that's enough to flat out kill him, by the way.
Well, he did say he was going to sever his link so the noobs couldn't judge him. So
that's right.
And you got so close to death.
Sakari's the only one who sees this too, because he's just crazed with Duat fruit.
That's right.
Okay. So, all right. Then next up is Ulpiano. So Ulpiano, you can see that all of these. There's 2 who are running away. Who are about maybe 10 meters away from you at this point. Otherwise, 4 of them are down and dead. Or dying.
Okay, I'll spend my action tending to Lokari. Do anything like medically or...
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not gonna chase him. I'm gonna...
It'll take you...
my injury.
I don't think you can do first aid in combat, but you can do it immediately after. Let me just. I'll make sure that I'm not wrong about that. Let me check the rule book.
So he'll get his stuff out, basically.
That's awesome.
Okay, so let's see here. Your let's see here. Battle.
I mean, if it's only 4 seconds, it makes sense that you can't really do much.
True.
Yeah, heal. Yeah, you can't heal after battle. You can apply a bandage to heal one flesh wound, but then you can also use. You can try and heal after battle as well.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're applying a bandage, then Sakari, you heal one flesh wound. And then I think the rest of these guys, like, unless you guys plan on pursuing these guys.
I'd like to do something.
Yeah. Interface, what do you want to do?
Because I have a ranged attack. The camera turns over to Interface, and you see him press a button on some kind of recording device he had, and he steps 1 meter forward. Should be within 9 meters of these guys, right?
Well, they ran 10.
Each round?
They're 10 away from, because they were running the last 2 rounds.
Okay. So, so he's just going to do that, and he says, he like plants his vocalizer right in the ground, and he says, "Come and listen to the screams of your dying," and he plays it back, and you hear each of the ones that just died, their screams get amplified as though it's going through like a megaphone and starts shrieking.
Yeah.
Blast them with it.
Awesome. So then they go racing off, and I think, yeah, I mean, if you don't treat these ones, they will die of their wounds anyway. You have driven them off, and that the sound from your vocoder echoes out over the hills as well, too. And apart from the sort of moans of 1 or 2 of these fallen bandits, the rest of you guys I guess the sound of your kind of heavy breathing, and the winces from Judge Eckert and Sakari, you guys are out of combat. Now, Ulpiano, you'll see under your equipment, you've got a pretty neat piece of Spitalian gear.
Okay.
That may be of help here.
Under equipment?
Mm-hmm.
So glad you guys managed to kill them, because I didn't want to do like party damage.
Yes.
It's a 45-degree arc, so.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Take a look at the rules for that.
How do you see that?
If you click on the cog, it'll open up the full...
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's a pretty intense.
Plus medicine, plus 2 extra dice.
Nice. So,
Right. Whoa.
if you wish to do any treatment for your allies here, as a moment you can spear your splayer into the ground and have it standing there. To patch up flesh wounds, it's an intelligence plus medicine roll against a target number of 2. And if you succeed, it's 1 plus the number of triggers you roll. That's how many flesh wounds are healed.
You have to be trained in medicine to do that?
You are. Yeah. Well, it's a cult piece of gear.
Okay, cool.
So it's something that Spitalians are trained to do.
Okay. So first of all, since I'm at Sakari, I'll treat Sakari first.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
Medicine. So this thing gives me a plus 2 to this.
Ooh.
No, nice.
How'd you do there? Oh, man.
Yeah, 3 triggers.
3 triggers. Holy shit. So you heal 4 flesh wounds on Sakari.
I know I like you.
I can still use my bandage on Judge Eckhart for 1
Yep.
as well?
Yep.
Okay, so Steve, you get 1 back, and then whatever this roll is.
Thank you.
Interface is back there catching his breath. You guys
Nice.
too fast.
Again. How many? 1, 2, 2. So you heal another 3 flesh wounds.
Awesome.
Me too?
No, sorry. So Judge Eckert, you've healed
yeah.
a total of 4. Not yeah.
Yeah.
So you're at 11, so you should be at 7 right now.
Yeah, it's
flesh
not
wounds.
the number, it's
Yeah.
number of,
Okay. So with them driven, or them killed, or driven off, what are you guys doing next?
Well, let's go see what's going on inside.
Indeed.
Are you just letting these? There's at least 2 that are still alive. They're really seriously injured, but are you just leaving them to bleed out?
I would.
So I probably have some type of like a prayer for the dying that involves like, you were my enemy in life, but now I release your soul back to its own truth and all of that sort of stuff. And
Yep.
so I'd go over to them and coup de grace.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you
Same.
execute. Yep. These. So, and what you can see is, let's see here. Interface. Would you give me a roll of intelligence and what's it called? What's the tech lore thing called?
Artifact lore?
Artifact lore, thank you. Yes,
Okay.
I mean artifact lore, and the challenge will be, let's say 2 on this.
Okay, so if I artifact lore should automatically add my intelligence, right?
Yes, it does. Yeah, if you just click on the skill, it'll automatically do that.
And I get 1 trigger because of fractal memory.
Right, but trigger speaks to the quality of success, doesn't give you actually successes. So you do get a success here, and you get a little bit extra. So looking at these, what they've, what's been carried out here, you're familiar enough at least with when, scrappers bring stuff in and try and trade in stuff. Like, this is the very last stuff that people would bring in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not the first thing that's scrapped over. This is picking over the leavings that like a big dog or in a pack of animals, the big ones eat first, and then the lesser predators, they are stuck with the scraps. This would be the scraps.
Well, Interface will just bend down and pick up one of the knives that nicks Sakari so well and tuck it in his
Okay.
robe or something.
So I think that's a 1 more encumbrance though. So.
I'm already slow.
Right, but it gives you a penalty to your dice actions.
Oh, am I already?
Yeah,
pushing
I'm
it?
not sure you want to do that.
Okay, then he'll just look at it and flick it dismissively into the ground.
Okay, let me make sure that it is actually 1 encumbrance, but I think it is. I mean, you know how deadly these things are, these knives. It is encumbrance 1.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Oh, knives also have +1 handling. Holy shit. Truly,
So yeah, 2 of 2.
the knife is God in this game. Oh, and speaking of which, that's what's in the handle of your beaten hander too. So you do find it's too slow to react. You can just take it out. And there's a potential you can get that actually allows you to maximize that sort of thing as a surprise attack as well.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so then, I'm sorry, what did you... I interrupted with Interface's little thing there. What were the rest of you guys doing? Old Piano's finishing putting the med kit or the field kit back on the on his horse. Old Piano, what do you call your horse, or does it have a name?
Go horse with no name.
He did go through a desert.
What would he call it? I don't think he cares a lot about this.
Okay, so it's horse.
Yeah, he calls it, I'll think of something good, but it's like just something about it's being a labor carrier. Like,
Okay. So, what do you guys do next then?
What's the building? They all came out of a building. Can we tell
Yeah,
what
the
kind of building
one
it is?
kind of the biggest building, the one that sort of serves as a multi-purpose kind of, like facility. It's where the drinks are served. It's where food is where you sleep if you're staying over. And underneath the awning there is usually where the sort of like local shops and stuff. The apothecary may be set up there selling little things.
But
And
there's nobody there at all.
no one at all.
I'm gonna walk up to toward the door and kind of, put my back against the side of the door, still have Kobish in hand, and kind of peer inside
Sure.
into the interior.
So you peer inside. It's fucking dark in there. With the sun going down in the dusk, there's not a single light that's turned on in there. So it is dark.
Okay.
And you can see there's those weird where there's an imperfection in the ceiling or in the wall where a little bit of light shines through, but that seems to you know, even obscure the vision more as you're trying to make sense of what you see. Maybe is that an overturned table? Maybe.
Okay, but it's quiet.
No word. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'll have done while that's happening.
Yeah. Is looting like this common?
Can be, yeah. I mean, a town like this with a chronicler there. I guess that's the other question. I mean, the chronicler is a fairly, it's normally a fortified place, right? Like that. If any place has the best defenses, normally, just to let you know what the, you know, what to sort of expect there. Where is it here? It's called. I think it's called the alcove. Yeah, an alcove. It's basically a yeah, like a little fortified building where they'll keep they distribute the money that you use in at least in regions that are under the control of the chroniclers. They use what are called drafts, and they're printed by chroniclers. Like you've actually got a chronicler printer where you can print off up to 50 drafts per month. The other competing one is dinars, which are used by Neo-Libyans, and they're pretty much worth the exact same. Just, you know, some will be accepted more easily than others. But what they'll have in there is they'll have the printers that will pay off the drafts to pay the strappers for whatever they've got, and then they'll keep the rest of their stuff in there in the alcove. That's on the kind of on the far side of the courtyard, so you could maybe inspect there as well. You know, this place, if the place was attacked, you would think that there would need to be, I mean, 6 people couldn't take down this whole town, not armed the way these guys are.
Right, like you said, these are like the low guys on the totem pole, maybe.
Totally, yeah.
So this was the place where the Chronicle was at, right? So he's all big and techy like I am, right?
Yes, oh, absolutely.
Is there anything like a Wi-Fi that I could pick up here to kind of like see if they sent out a signal?
Well, yeah. If there's in the alcove, there's a I can't remember what they call it, but it's basically like a booster. It's a signal booster that will. Actually, I can tell you what it's called.
Can I go in there and interface with it?
Yeah, you can try. I mean, if it's there. So what it's called? A network uplink.
Yeah.
A portable network uplink.
I want to see if they left like a signal behind a warning.
Yeah, and you have it over in the direction, and it looks kind of like it looks like a combination of like a pillbox and kind of like to be honest, a scrap heap. And as you approach it, you can see that the doorway is sort of in, it's in a bit of shadow just from where the sun is setting in the far in the west. So it's not until you get quite close to it that you realize that there are scorch marks on the edge of the doorway. And as you get in there, you can see the door itself is gone.
Somebody must have...
You've got engineering, right?
Yes, I do.
Give me intelligence and engineering, please.
Okay. Ooh. 2 successes
Nice.
and triggers.
Yeah, so what you can... obviously... what probably, but interface can tell as well too. There's some kind of blasting charge that would have been used here, and just as you'll notice in the rulebook that they list the costs of ammunition. That's by bullet, because bullets are super super rare. Like it's a very treasured thing. Like you really need to be cautious with unless you're a Helvetic, and even the Helvetics are trained to be very very careful with their use of their guns. To have like a breaching charge, that's a chronicler, that's maybe a Neo-Libyan, or someone else with access to a lot of money just to blow on it. What you can triggers will tell you is that it's the breaching charge. So you know it's an explosion that brought the thing in. Your triggers is knowing what is likely used here. So
Gotcha.
Interface, you've headed over there and you're looking at this thing. You know, you're leaning on your vocoder. The rest of you guys were at the main building. What are you doing? Ulpiano, you're the one with the most familiarity with this place. What are you doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, have we given up hope for any survivors? Or because if not, I'll be searching for survivors.
So what you could do, you have one of you guys, I think, has a lantern, like an oil lantern. It's probably you, Ulpiano, because you've got quite a bit of money. There's no, like, flashlights. Those kind of things are very, very rarely used. Oil is just cheaper and easier to use. So if you want to get a lot, or you can make it, light a torch to look inside there, but there's no light inside, and you can't see, where the where a lantern might be inside this building.
Okay. Could I make a makeshift torch?
There's enough scrap around here, and if you grab some of the cloth off of one of those guys, you could wrap it around the end there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just something to light my way.
Sure. And
Sure.
tuck it under. I think Interface is probably your best bet to have a lighter on him. So you kind of look over. Yeah, you probably have flint and tinder with you as well to try and get it started. But Interface, I think he's got some kind of like Zippo or some equivalent thereof. But Interface seems to be looking at the standing outside the alcove.
Oh, right. I'll go up. Interface. Got some kind of a fire method? And I'm holding my sort of makeshift torch.
What's the Interface doing right now? I
Well,
picture.
Yeah, he's just like looking at the scorch marks and then at the alcove and putting pieces together. And he looks over at Opino. Do you need a light?
Yeah, a light. What do you got?
I can make some sparks, I suppose. But sparks around oil isn't
Anything.
a good idea.
No, you have a Zippo.
Oh, I do? Okay.
Yeah.
So he'll just fiddle around, pull it out, and he's not going to let Opino touch it. He's just going to flick it and then lean over slowly and light the wick.
Okay. Your
Good enough.
torch is illuminated.
Thank you.
Okay.
Interface didn't say anything. He just looks back at the thing again.
Okay. So I know that Sakari was kind of holding out near the entrance to the room. What is Karina doing right now, and what is Judge Eckert doing right now? Karina's finished saying goodbye to the last of these bandits, I guess.
Probably just, it maybe takes a while, and maybe she even kind of is finished up and looks over and sees Sakari kind of at the doorway holding point and decides, I don't want to go stand next to him.
That's fair.
Okay, see, the beaten handers are resting on your shoulder again. Judge Eckert, you've seen this, Karina has put the last of these guys to death.
Yep.
Ulpiano has just lit a torch and is going back towards the big building there, and Interface just seems to be standing at the black open doorway to
Sure.
the alcove, to the Chronicler alcove.
Well, I cast my investigator's eye about and just sort of do a little rifling through pockets and whatever else, drawers if there are any.
Drawers, you're grabbing their junk?
Sure. Why not?
Okay,
I'm
so,
dealing with drug dealers here, They
yeah, no,
stash
fair enough.
stuff.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think that what you find is just maybe two of them have little bits of like metal or like things that would just be souvenirs. No, what you find is no drafts in them, so there's no printed Chronicler money in either of them. So these guys are broke. They weren't making off with money that they stole here. The scrap that they seem to be carrying off may have been the last of the valuables that are found in here. You've seen this before, right? Like these are sometimes, if they're strong enough, clans will, or ne'er-do-wells will make a raid on a village and try and kill everyone and take their stuff. Some are just opportunistic. They'll wait for that to happen, and then, you know, they happen upon a place where something bad has happened to the community. It's not beyond them to just grab what they can and get going. What I can tell you is that these there's no markings on them that suggest that these are part of an apocalyptic flock, and that's the cult you were tracking. These are just local clanners.
Okay. Thank you.
So then, Old Piano, you make your way back. You've got that torch in hand. What happens next?
Well, I'll search the building.
Okay.
And call out. Maybe I know a few people's names.
Sure. Yeah. And in what order do you, or which of the names you call out? At what point do you reach that girl's name? Is it the first one? Or is it, are you hoping that you don't?
Probably it's the first name on in my tongue, but
okay.
I'm scared about what these evil, looters would have done with such a pretty girl.
Sure. So you go in and you step inside, and it's a well picked over mess in here. The torch isn't helping whatsoever with the flickering, burning. It's casting a really poor light in here. But you can picture walking into a completely blackened room where tables have been smashed, where, there's signs of violence in here. Tell me what you're looking for. First of all, there's no people in here. But what other signs are you looking for? Anyone else who wants to follow Old Piano in there, you can feel free to do that.
Well, just as he's walking in, I'm standing there. The scorch marks that we see, can I get any better sense of what caused them?
The one where I'm at?
So if you're...
is that a different place?
The scorch marks are on the chronicler alcove on the far side of the clearing.
Yeah, so Kari walks up to interface and starts looking around. He'll say, blasting charge.
Yeah, in that weird digitized voice, too.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even deign to look at Sokari, he just says it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sokari, give me do you have any training in engineering?
I don't think so. Let me see.
Give me an intelligence check, then.
I have nothing in training. Okay. Now, so how do I make an intellect?
I think it's just you click on engineering, and then it'll roll it for you.
I'll just do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, here we go.
I got to check the rules tonight, too.
That
Nothing.
seems so.
Okay, no.
That's, yeah.
So you hear the word blasting charge, but you're like, what the is this? It's more of this weird arcane, foofara that,
He's speaking in gibberish as far as I know.
Absolutely.
Well, I get confused because I think they were after the uplink.
The uplink? This means to converse with your god?
Interface just says something like that.
Long pause. Something like that.
I don't need some kind of technology to do that, and I just walk off.
Okay. So Opiano is making his way through this. Jeff, what is Opiano looking for?
Well, I think it's he wouldn't use these terms because they probably don't know this game anymore, but it's sort of like hide and seek, right? Like he's looking for places where someone would be hiding.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. And I think hide and seek is likely, they may not call it that, but like that's one of the oldest, it's a free thing.
Right, that might have actually survived the apocalypse.
Absolutely. So let's do this. Why don't you give me let me see here. It's definitely going to be an instinct. Give me an instinct and perception roll here.
Okay, instinct plus perception.
Yeah. And here's another optional rule too. Is I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be able to add ego to your non-combat rolls as well too, because again, it's using up a limited resource anyway. So
yeah, and then it doesn't just all become about combat.
Sure. How do I change the ego that I use?
It doesn't automatically calculate it. Just add it as a modifier. If you're going to add ego up to 3, yeah, maximum of 3, and then you just subtract it from the green bar, and then you'll regain that.
I'll add 2 because he's pretty pretty concerned here.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Holy shit. How many triggers did you get there?
2.
2. Awesome. So, I think that, knowing how these communities are, I think that that there is a hiding place that... what's this girl's name anyway? You can think of like kind of like make a weird version of a French name. That's probably about if she's Franken, that would be about right. Or if she's what do you call it? Borken. It may be kind of a German sounding name, but you can also make it.
No, I think her name's like more like Julie.
Okay. Juliana. Okay, nice. So we sort of flash back to a sunnier time of you sitting around with her talking about herbs and stuff like that. And how does it come up that this is their hiding place? This is their alcove.
Maybe she was. Maybe it's somewhere where they like keep some of their better valuables, and I sort of engaged with her long enough about her apothecary stuff, and she was showing me some of her like rarer herbs and stuff that had been gathered from around the place, and so I kind of know of this location that they have.
Sure. So maybe it's around back, like a little ways off from here.
Yeah.
And hidden underneath, maybe like near one of the water towers.
Sure.
So you head out. Once you find this empty, you walk out and you make your way over to one of the water towers. By this point, I think the sun has well and truly set. So your lantern, your torch is still burning for probably for another couple of minutes, but you can't see quite well because of the light of the moon. You make your way over towards there, and what do we see as you kind of clear the dust away to get to the concealed area?
It's
Sakari.
A very nervous look on his face.
Sakari and Karina, are you following?
Yeah, I would follow him for sure, at least to back him up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kopesh out, Biedenhander over the shoulder. So Ulpiano, you get over there and you test along the side, and you can find the edge of this. You have to reach around in the dirt for a little bit until you find the rope that you can pull and expose this place.
Yeah, pull the rope. Very nervous.
Okay. You pull it back, and you hear screams from inside. No! No, 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 no!
And I'll say, it's Ulpiano!
Ulpiano? Ulpiano, is that you?
It is.
Oh,
You're all right.
Oh, and you can see it is Juliana, and she comes along. Behind her are two other women, and this is down, about 5 feet. And she's like, please, and kind of holding her hands up.
Yeah, I'll reach down to help them up.
Sure. So I'm picturing that you've either leaned your splayer up against the horse, or you've affixed it.
I'm gonna take a glance at the jar on the end of the spear.
Nice. Yeah.
As he opens it up, and we hear that.
So you glance back at where the horse is, and again, it just seems to be drifting there. It's making no wild motions. So Ulpiano, as soon as you pull the Karina's focused on that. So Kari, what are you doing right now?
So I am looking. Is there anybody? How many people total are there?
Well, Ulpiano's reaching down. You can only see right now that he's trying to pull one person up. The hole itself is probably only about maybe 3 by 3.
Oh, okay. So I can't help bring other people. Okay. So I will then just. I don't even care. I just said, what happened to you?
So you throw your kopesh over your shoulder. Ulpiano, you've pulled the full up, and you pull the first Juliana up. Sakari, you say, what happened to you? And
yes.
She looks and begins screaming staggers back, and she screams out, "They're back!" and falls down into the hole. And that's where we will leave things. So
the interface just walking in at that moment is like, the hell's going on?
all right, let's quickly talk about XP here. Because XP gets granted. Now, hold on. Oh, boy. Now, we didn't finish a full adventure here, but I think this gives us at least an idea of how this game will play out.
This is pretty fun.
Yeah. Man, I wish I could play tomorrow. But,
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Monday.
Over here, like, I'm tempted to call in 6. I don't do overtime, but they're going to be there for me.
Yeah,
okay, so let's see here. You guys get... let's see here. Each scene during the adventure, you get 1 XP. So I think we've had 2 scenes. Investigation scene and the other thing. So 2 XP from that. Also, plus 1 if something extraordinary happened during the scene. Guys, what extraordinary stuff happened tonight?
I like my attempt to frighten them off with their dying screams of their allies. That was pretty cool.
I don't know if you can vote for yourself, John. That was pretty cool.
I didn't know the rules.
Jesus. I think so I like that.
The judge, I mean, really dealt some amazing damage there.
Yeah.
And I felt like it turned the tide.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Nice.
I didn't feel that spectacular, but no, I do.
Well, I didn't really care if you feel good or bad. I just used you anyway.
Okay,
so
well, thank
okay.
Yeah, we can't vote for ourselves. I vote for Zakari. That Anubis soul cutting thing was.
It's not only one. I think that each of you guys had some really great, like Karina's beaten hander. Even if it doesn't attack every round, that does a shit ton of damage. Same with that Kopesh as well. The defenses that Zakari did were pretty good tonight too. And Opiano, yeah, like you were more on the RP side, but like the treatment afterwards was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
So why don't we say this? Why don't we say everyone gets another point for that? So it gives you 3 in total.
I thought everybody did do an excellent job in kind of understand, like learning the world and figuring out their characters.
Definitely.
That thing about learning the system on the fly is you get so much invested more in the character than the mechanics as you do it.
Yeah.
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 So I just building this image of interface.
Oh, we lose John.
Yeah.
My head is, he's not, your bit of armor, like a tank.
Oh, so we lost you for a sec there, John. Yeah, it's cool. It was really cool.
You did?
See you guys.
Yeah, your uplink failed.
Yeah.
Well, they stole it. They blew it the hell up.
All right. So, you know what, guys? Why don't we just do this? Let's say that you guys get 10 XP in total.
And what's the,
So the cost of upgrading stuff, because we are going to have some time pass between now and tomorrow's sessions, which means the question of what this girl was freaking out about may have to wait for another time to be resolved. Combat is fairly complicated, but it ends quickly.
Yes.
Would you guys agree with that?
I agree with that assessment for sure.
I think it's my 3rd time. Yeah, it's 2 rounds and boom, done.
Yeah, and I mean, if you were able to incorporate some of the options from artifacts to add a little more texture to combat, I think that would definitely allow your characters to feel a little different.
Well, and it'll continue to go faster now that we all have a better feel for how it works.
I mean, you discovering that what we needed to fix the handling on the thing too. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Gotta love the what do you call it? Discovering the ins and outs of each of these things.
Yeah.
It's also I really appreciate you guys letting me run this tonight as well too, just because there was a bunch of shit that was like, okay, I need to look that up again or confirm that.
Have you tried to run it yet at all, or was it
no?
The first, okay.
First time.
Good. Get your feet wet before the gaming marathon.
Was that?
Get your feet wet before the gaming marathon.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Well, this kind of became session 1 for the gaming marathon.
It did. Well, it's also,
That's true.
It's cool seeing it definitely is session 1 of the gaming marathon. And it's great seeing what the characters are kind of like too. So when you guys come back to this in tomorrow or later throughout the weekend, Interface is going to have the most players play him too, because Mo's playing him tomorrow, and then Brent's playing him tomorrow night, and then you're going to play him again on Monday.
Awesome.
And
we see how consistent he is.
Well, just he's a mental uplink, so he's got a couple different users. So just think of it that way.
That's awesome.
I was looking in the possible potentials, where there's like download and upload, where they just think of humans or just programs running with a wet circuit board inside. So
That's awesome.
That's great.
Well, there's cool. There's like in Artifacts they also introduce a bunch of new potentials for the different like general ones as well as one specific for the for each of the cults. They also have wilderness travel rules.
oh no.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
So I like that a lot. Oh, jeez. It's okay. So here I found that. Now there's some really good stuff. There's some optional rules for like fleshing out the social side of things, so it's not just combat. I'm like, unfortunately, like I don't like reading stuff in PDF, and it should be shipping any day now. So like in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna get the newest edition, the Black Edition of Degenesis, as well as the what do you call it? The Artifacts book.
Cool.
I might go out of my way just to buy a copy of this in hardback.
The book is George can confirm this. Like
I
it's
mean,
beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's
Yeah.
A4 size, so it's I mean,
Yeah.
look at these images, and
I'll need to get the black version, but yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Well, the black version actually has all the errata incorporated as well too, which is
Okay,
nice.
good.
Yeah.
So yeah, because there's a couple of things that are missing in here. Because in the rules as written, the bonus to your first attack isn't clear. I mean, it's not like it's Riven. This is not like a Catalyst book where it's got a shit ton of things. XP is on page 96 of Catharsis. So like to let's see here, to raise an attribute costs the new value times 12 a preferred attribute, which will be dictated by if you're a primal or a focus character, is 10 times the new value. Skills are the new value times 5. A preferred skill is new value times 4.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that on my page 96.
Yeah, so
Oh, it's on mine. In the book, is it page 96 of the?
yeah, the
The new one on the PDF I have, it looks like it's page 102.
Ah,
oh, interesting. Okay.
So yeah, no, I have the newer one then.
Which is experience and progression. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
then, and then your potentials are the level of all potentials times 10. So you can get a new potential for 10 at this point, but then they become 20 at your next one and 30 at your next one.
Can you buy a new potential? Just how much?
10.
Oh, so just buying one is 10, increasing to level 2 is 20?
No. The XP cost for each for you these characters who only have one potential, it will cost 10. But then each new one afterwards, it's the total number of levels. Like a lot of the potentials have variable levels in them, so you can raise them to be like whatever the potential is, 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. It just gets more expensive the more of them you have.
Okay, and adding more of them. So, say if I wanted to add another one instead of just boosting one, that cost 10.
Same thing. It's same cost.
Okay.
A new level in a potential would cost 10 at this point. A new potential altogether would cost 10 as well. And then the general potentials are, I think, at the very back. There's not a huge amount of them, from what I remember. But there are a couple. And where are... It says death is part of the game. Here we go. Common potentials. I've got them on page 92. Asceticism, Ether Call, Moving Mountains, Elephant Skin. Oh, gives you armor. That's pretty cool. Brainwave, Danger Sense, gives you to Instinct and Perception. Sleek could be worse. Oh, you reduce trauma penalties by 1. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so there's a bunch of common ones you could choose from as well too. But anyway, I'll leave that to you guys. Oh, nice. So Andrew's joined us as well too. Hey, Mal. Nice. Mal's gonna catch up on us later. Cool. Yeah, and again, Mal remind us free to download. So if this did, even if the kind of dog's breakfast we made of get running the rules and stuff like that, if it does look cool, you can find a link to this in the description of the video at degenesis.com. It's free, so you know you lose nothing by checking it out. And it seems tomorrow we're going to be playing. We're starting off, boom, in thy name, or in thy blood, which is going to be pretty fucking awesome. Karina, we're going back to your hometown in Lucator.
Nice.
And things are, or doings are transpiring. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this first, salvo for the gaming marathon. We'll see you again. If you're listening live, we'll see you again tomorrow morning, starting at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And we got one session that goes, I think, 5 or 6 hours, and then we got a break, and then we're doing another one in the evening, and then we're doing our final session of the gaming marathon on Monday night. But as always, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the game we played tonight, Degenesis, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. Again, this Degenesis is a very, very complicated setting as well too. So if we did screw things up, please be forgiving in the way in pointing those out. We are inevitably going to be screwing things up in a 500 or whatever page, setting book. But and again, if you do want to check things out, the Marko Djurdovic as well too, the main guy behind this, he is on Instagram at 6 More Marco, and he regularly posts awesome stuff for this. Some in progress works as well too, as well as stuff that's coming from the new book for Justicia. So yeah, that's another cool way to find more information about this this awesome game. In addition, if you want to reach me on Twitter, you can find me at Dungeon Musings. You can also find me by email at dungeonmusings@gmail.com. Now, normally this is around the time when we make a pitch for Heroes Save Villages, but unfortunately, as of today, SOS Children's Villages International is changing the way that they structure their online fundraising, so we have no way of actually getting money to them right now. So if you are someone who donated, I see that someone donated $20 yesterday, and that's normally when you get to add an NPC to a game. I don't, because they've removed the page, I can't actually access that posting now. So if in the last little while I know someone donated and asked for a character based off of their late wife, and then someone else donated yesterday, if you could please contact me at dungeonmusings@gmail.com, let me know what it was. That I'll keep repeating this over the next couple of sessions. If you can let me know what that was, I'll make sure to incorporate that. It's just I don't have any way of tracking what that is. What that also means is that we were planning on kicking off our annual charity raffle as of Monday, but we've got no way of getting the money to the charity right now, so we're going to have to postpone that as well too. So I'm sorry for anyone who is itching to jump in on that, but I will let you know as soon as we've got something new set up. Last but not least, I'll just stop. Well, I guess first off, if you did enjoy the session and you want to make sure not to miss more of this, be sure to click on subscribe and the bell icon so you can be notified when we go live. We also have every Sunday night I post the schedule for this. I also post it on the Dungeon Musings Discord server, which you can join at a link in the description of this video. And I also post it on Twitter. Yeah, last but not least, my players. Players who came tonight expecting to play some D&D tonight were asked to learn a brand new game, play a bunch of brand new characters, and look at this. Look how fucking well they did. Guys, thank you so much for indulging me in my flight of fancy with this. This was really, really helpful. I look forward to seeing most of you back in the world of Degenesis tomorrow or later this weekend. So, Arlen, Jeff, Steve, John, and George, thank you so much, guys. I had so much fun running this tonight and learned an awful lot. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys, most of you guys, back at, for the rest of the gaming marathon. So, thank you, guys.
Yep.
That's great.
And for those listening at home, once again, thank you so much for joining us for this session. My apologies to anyone who came wanting to see more Night Below. We will be back to that next week. Just for now, we're doing our kicking off our gaming marathon, which will be continuing on tomorrow. Until we see you again, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this finds you healthy, safe, and weathering the current crisis as well as can be expected. And until we see you again,